Welcome, welcome, welcome. Each and every last one of you, welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. We are here all together, live and in living color. Now, I know what you came here for. You've seen the advertisement. You've seen the thumbnail. You've seen it. And that's why you are here. I'm going to give you what you asked for. I know the title says what it says, but did you see the thumbnail, though? You probably haven't seen the thumbnail. You probably did. I would hope you would. Because, backed by popular demand, people have been asking me in the comments section on the last few videos that I've published, in the comments section, and even in the chat, live chat, as recent as yesterday. And I know it was mostly Terrence Bud Crawford fans that was inquiring about it. And the question was, when are we going to resume Nip It in the Bud? That was the question that I was asked. When are we going to resume it? I have an answer for you. Today. Today. Right here. Live in living color. I also wanted to tell you this because I think this is as equally as important. I conducted a survey, I believe it was yesterday. A lot of people did not participate. Usually most people do, but it was under 200 people. And it was a poll. And in that poll, I asked, based on the reviews and the comments that I was receiving throughout, my chat, the comment sections, and previous videos, when are we going to have another Nip It in the Bud segment? And so 80% of the votes said yes. When I asked, should we have another Nip It in the Bud session? Should we resume it? 80% of the demographic that voted said yes. So I said, you know what? Why not? Why not do it today? Because Terrence Bud Crawford fans have been clamoring all week long for the opportunity to come on this channel and basically grind me up. And I am one of the very few content creators, if not the only one, I am probably the only one, that designated an entire segment just for you. And so I'm glad that you are here with me today. Salute to everybody that's in the chat acknowledging me. I welcome you. If this is your first time visiting us here on the podcast, I welcome you as well. I thank you for your viewership. If you are a returning viewer, if you are a part of the Roll the Tape Film Crew membership, I welcome you as well, of course. I'm just glad to be here. What up, Johnny G? I see you in the chat. Remy, I see you in the chat. Dahlia, I see you in the chat. So we're going to have a Nip It in the Bud segment. Now, here's the thing. Oh, my homegirl is here. Haven't seen her in a while, and she was here just yesterday. Diana, member of the channel, salute to you. Blessings and peace to you as well. Nay, that's it. I see you in the chat. Brian, my man, see you in the chat. Salute to each and every last one of you. Appreciate that, Nay. What a show we had last night with the Hall of Famer, great referee, one of the best referees in the professional boxing world, Mr. Harvey Doc. My goodness. Gregory Quarterbomb, I see you. Salute, my brother. Man, what an interview that took place last night. Man, oh man. Oh, as the viewership is increasing exponentially, I want to let you know that this segment, Nip It in the Bud, is designated to Terrence Bud Crawford fans. Many of you that have not been a part of this podcast through viewership, I can catch you up to speed just briefly. There's a segment that we call Nip It in the Bud. Yes, it is a double entendre and a play on words. Because Terrence Bud Crawford has a large fan base, a huge demographic of fans who like to voice their opinion, not just in my chat or my comment section, but most content creators chat and comment sections who don't agree with them or who have had some honest perspectives on Terrence Crawford. And I can assure you of this. This is a known fact. There's nobody else on YouTube that I know of yet that have caught more flack from Terrence Bud Crawford fans than me. And if it has been, they may have been catching flack before I got here. But in the past few months, I've been catching flack verbally from Terrence Bud Crawford fans all across this nation. Not just on my channel, not just in my chat, not just in my comment section, but when I go on other people's platforms, including interviews that I've done with YSM Sports Media over the past year. And so I figure, why not designate a segment just for Terrence Bud Crawford fans to provide their perspective and then answer some questions and then ask me some questions. And, you know, I have to keep it 100. It's been a hit. We have not had one dull moment in any of the 16 or 17 episodes that were previously published on this channel out of the Nip It in the Bud segment. And so we won't shy away tonight, or today rather, tonight for some of people watching in another country, but we won't shy away today. So Terrence Bud Crawford fans, I see at least 2 of you in the chat, but I know there's more watching me. Come on down. I'm going to fly the kite in just a minute. We have to get through some preliminaries, but I want you to come on down. I want you to join the live broadcast today. I know y'all got something that y'all want to say to me. I see and feel the rhythm and the algorithm and the chat and the comments. The energy is just energy towards me have been extremely unfavorable, and I welcome controversy. And y'all already know that conflict creates controversy, and controversy creates cash. So come on down. I'm going to open my platform for you today, because I know that you have some things you want to say to me. And guess what? There's fans of the sport of boxing watching all around the world. And they know that y'all have a lot to say to me. But you know I have 3 words for you, Terrence Bud Crawford fans. Just know that when you come up here, I got 3 words for you. And it's not roll the tape. It's my other saying. We need answers. So as I prepare for your questions, just make sure you're prepared for mine. There's people in the chat that want to ask Terrence Bud Crawford fans questions as well. And we're going to open it up for all of that to take place today, because this channel is about what? 2 E's. Very simple. Education and entertainment. And I think I've done an exceptional job producing both. I see you in the chat, Mr. Day. That's my friend Rod. The guy knows me over 30 years. The man knows me for over 30 years, and he'll tell you when it comes to my personality, when it comes to the type of man that I am, I haven't changed much in 30 years. In a good way, for good reasons. So, y'all have answers. I have questions. You have questions. And I have answers. But before we get into that, I made a commitment yesterday that we are going to get back to our regularly scheduled program with our Town Watch check-in as the viewership is increasing exponentially. Now, we got to get down to our Town Watch check-in. We haven't done it in a while. And then we're going to get to our segment, what you really came here for. Okay? I'm going to give you what you asked for today. Yeah, I'm in that type of mood. And we're going to have a good time. But before we do that, let's do what we said we was going to do yesterday, which we haven't done in a few days since I've been back on the podcast. And that is our Town Watch check-in. Now, if you're just joining us live or the replay of this live for the first time, let me explain to you briefly what our Town Watch check-in represents. I call it a Town Watch check-in because this is the opportunity of this segment where we all check in. Feel free to do so. Let us all check in, and this is how we're going to check in. We insert where we're born and raised, geographically speaking, and or the location that we represent today. Any city, any state, any island, and any country. And when you insert that location in the chat, I am going to publicly acknowledge your location and let everybody know that's watching all around the world that you're in the building. Fair enough? Good. Now, the reason why we do this Town Watch check-in is because even though we might agree, even though we might disagree, even though we might have different perspectives, even if we have different experiences, different walks of life, different genders, etc., we share one thing in common. And that is our love for the sport of boxing. So with that being said, I'm going to start this Town Watch check-in first, as I always do. I'm representing two locations. The state of Texas, by way of Arlington, Mansfield to be exact, Tarrant County to be even more exact, by way of my hometown. The great city of Philadelphia. Nope, not in Mississippi, but the Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. So 215 is in the building. Philly is on deck. You know I represent my city everywhere I go. Now, where you from? Let's check on in. Who we got here? Port City 910 is in the building. Let's check on in. H-Town, Texas is here with us today. I see you. Spartanburg, South Carolina, 864 is in the house tonight. Where we at? Let's check on in. 215, I see you, Philly. I see you in the building. Who else we got on here? Check on in. Las Vegas is in the building. Come on, y'all, let's check on in. We got to start this show off right. We ain't do it in a few days. We might as well do it now. Is Brooklyn in the house? Without a doubt. Where Brooklyn at? Oh, I see Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in the building. Dallas, Texas, all day, every day in the building. Los Angeles is in the building. 618 Midwest is in the building. My guy representing Maryville, Indiana, Mike Harrison is in the building today. Who else we got? Come on, y'all, let's check on in. I see you, Felicia. Haven't seen you last night, but I'm glad to see you today, baby. Hampton, Virginia is in the building. Who else we got in here? Let's check on in. Let's check on in. 314. Don't let me mess this up, y'all. 314. STL is in the building. Let's check on in. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is here. Who else we got in here? New Yorkers up in here. Come on, y'all. Where we at? 856 East Camden, New Jersey is in the building. Let's go. Who else we got in here? H-Town. I see H-Town in here. I see H-Town in here. We got people from the West Coast, people from the East, people from the Midwest. I'm missing. Where the Dirty South at? Know somebody. Oh, yeah, DC in the building. I knew DC was in here. Absolutely. Where we at? You know what they say. Keep that same energy. Do me a favor, y'all. While we checking on in, we've been on live for almost 16 minutes. I need somebody to smash the like button. We've been on here 16 minutes. I need somebody to smash the like button, y'all. Let me tell y'all what happens when you click on the like button. Let me tell you exactly what happens. The education and the information and the entertainment from this podcast reverberates all around the world as the viewership is increasing exponentially. And the only reason why I said the viewership is increasing exponentially because my guy is in the building. And every time I see him in the chat, I got to salute him and say one of his favorite quotes from me. And that's my guy. YSM Sports Media is here representing Logan's finest is in the building. Fairfax, Virginia is in the house. Woo! Iowa is here with us today. San Antonio, Texas is here. Who else we got in here? Harlem on the rise. And you don't want no problem with them guys. Harlem World, Harlem, New York is in the building. Let's go. Hey, let me tell you something, the Keggy. Let me tell you something. You've been a supporter for a long time on this channel. Let me let you know something. And you and the audience watching live and live in color. This is not a Bud appreciation show. This is not a bias show or none of that. We don't do, no, we call it spade a spade and keep it 100 on here. You know that, the Keggy. No. I want Terrence Buck Crawford fans to come on down because I heard all the stuff you said about me behind my back, in the chat, in the comments section. I'm doing an interview with the great Harvey Doc, and I had to get my attention grasped away from me to read some unfavorable things. My gosh, that you guys were saying about me last night, the day before. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to come on up. Because I got some questions for you, Terrence Crawford fans, and I'm sure you have some for me. Absolutely. Who else we got in the building? 303, I see you. Come on, y'all. Let's check on in. Can I get one more? Can I get one more check-in? Just one? I need one more check-in. We didn't get nobody from the Dirty South in here today. We usually have people from all over the world checking in. It is 3:30 on the East Coast. I do understand that. Can I get one more check-in? Just one. We're going to get to our regularly scheduled program in just a second. Can I get one more check-in? We got to make sure that everybody is acknowledged in the house. Yeah. Uh-huh. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is in the building. Long Island is in the building. Queen City is in the house. I see you. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Oh, okay. I see her. She here. We wasn't going to start it without you, sweetheart. I see you. I know where you from. New Jersey, in the building. Just check right. She just slid right on in. No, he wasn't going to start this without you. Yeah. We need answers. I've heard all the things that Terrence Buck Crawford fans have been saying about me behind my back. I've seen you in the chat. I've seen you all in the comments section trying to disrupt my interview last night. I seen you. Oh, I seen you. Heard all the things you said in my comment section when I was on live earlier yesterday. Y'all was all in the comment section Sunday morning as soon as the fight was over last week. Man, oh man. So we're going to give you the opportunity today. And we're going to deal with what's real today. Because I'm sure you got some questions for me. And I got some answers for you. As long as you got some answers for me. Because I have some questions for you. I'm going to fly the kite in the chat. You already know this. I'm going to put the link right in the chat. And so Terrence Bud Crawford fans, come on down. Okay? We're going to deal with it now. We're going to deal with it. I've heard all the insults you said about me. What up, Bruce Gas? I see you. And let me say this too, because this is just entertainment, y'all. Strictly entertainment. But I'm going to use it all as teachable moments like I always do. Y'all know nothing offends me on YouTube. Unless it's really serious. It's not that deep. It's only boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the jury. Members of the Roll to Tape film crew. It's just boxing, y'all. That's all it is. That's what we come here to talk about. All right? Now, I'm going to take a 10-second commercial break because I need some water. So, as the viewership is climbing up the ladder, slowing down too. But that's all right, because as long as you here, that's all that matters. As long as you're in my chat right now, that's all that matters. As long as you're watching the replay of this live, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. If you are watching me live right now, that's all that matters. But I'm going to take me a 10-second break, probably 20 seconds. I'm going to go get some water. When I come back, y'all know I'm going to show my face from nobody. And I ain't never scared to show face. So we're going to deal with it today. Okay? This is not a defamation lawsuit. The person that said it in my chat. I've never defamed Terrence Crawford. Not one time on this channel. Not once. I never slandered the man's name. Not one time on this channel. Don't you lie on me. Never done it once. Have never done it. And won't start doing it now. We're going to deal with it. Let me go get some water, though. Don't keep talking trash in the chat. I got something for you. It's called the link. I'm going to fly it in the kite. We're going to deal with it today. So hold your horses. Don't move. I need the viewership to increase exponentially now. We're going to have a great, great podcast and broadcast today. And also, let me say this before I go get some water real quick, right? I'm also going to reintroduce and resume The Truth Hurts. Okay, I just want y'all to be clear what we're doing here. Not today. Not today. Not today. On a different day. And then that's going to be the segment for Errol Spence Jr. fans. Because we need some answers from them as well. I have some questions for them as well. I'm sure you do in the chat. See, we're going to be an equal opportunity podcast. And we're going to deal with it. All right? I'll be right back because I'm doing way too much talking. I need the viewership to increase exponentially. And listen, y'all. Y'all heard what DC Geroy told you last night if you was here. You can't keep coming to the family cookout eating for free. Taking plates home to eat lunch the next day. Okay? So be a blessing to this channel. It ain't nothing wrong with sending $1.99 for a super chat. Let me tell you what happens with your donations and your contributions. It allows for us here on this side of the camera to produce great content, right? And to improve the visual and audio quality so that you, the audience, can have a better experience when you engage with the contents. All right? Let me go get some water. I'll be right back. Don't move now. Don't move because we got a great show today. Don't move. Stay right where you're at. And if you want to go get some popcorn or a snack, you got 10 seconds to do so because when I come back, we firing on all cylinders. This is a segment called Nip It in the Bud. Y'all know what, listen, y'all know what you're here for. I know what you're here for. And I'm going to give you what you asked for. Terrence Bar Crawford fans are in the building. They're waiting to grind me up. But we need answers. I'll be right back. Y'all stay right there. We're going to talk about all of it. Live and living color right here on another episode of Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. Stay tuned. Stay right there. Don't move. Okay, I'm back. Y'all ready? All right, the viewership has increased exponentially. I'm sure more people going to slide right in, but we got to deal with the real now. Hold on for a minute. Let me do this. Because y'all got to know where to send them. Y'all got to know where to send the contributions at. You can't eat for free now. Can't eat for free. We need contributions to keep this channel flowing, okay? Just like we do all the time. No big deal. Okay? Now, this is the segment called Nip It in the Bud. If you're just joining us live and live in color, or if you're joining the replay of this live, this is what we do right here. Now, I did a poll for any of you that's just joining us as a new part of the audience. I said earlier that I do Nip It in the Bud segments. I haven't done them in a while. I actually wasn't going to do anymore And I told you I was going to do it up until the fight. Nip it in the bud and Truth Hurts for Errol Spence Jr. fans as well as Terrence Bud Crawford fans. Now, I've been receiving inquiries through email, comment section, the chat, inquiring about bringing and resuming the Nip It in the Bud segments back. I conducted a poll. Under 200 people participated in that poll. I believe that was yesterday, asking you all, the community, should I resume the Nip It in the Bud segments? And 80% of the demographic on those votes said yes. So here we are today, and we're going to deal with it. Before we deal with it, I have a super chat, and I'm sure we're going to have more. And so let me thank each and every one of you that's going to contribute to this channel to increase and improve the visual and audio quality. For all of your listening experiences, I want to thank you in advance, and I appreciate you. And with that being said, Big Noble Royalty, Nip It in the Bud, shout out Manager Marty, salute. Thank you, Big Noble Royalty, and I love the way you support me no matter what. You always contribute to the channel, so I want to salute Big Noble Royalty. Thank you so very much. Now, we got to get to what y'all came here for. Hold on, let me make sure we do what we do. All right, now, y'all know how we do. You know me very well. Most of you are returning viewers. Most of you are a part of the Roll the Tape Film Crew membership. And some of you, this is your first time on this podcast. Let me tell you right now, never am I scared to show face. Never have I ever ducked any smoke, especially on YouTube. And I won't do it today. So let me fly the link in the chat. Let's get this party started. I saw somebody in the chat put a popcorn emoji in their comment. So that means it's going to be a lot of entertainment tonight and education. Now, I don't want the usual suspects to keep coming up here. You know who you are when I say the usual suspects. I am talking about the Terrence Bud Crawford fans that constantly invest their time coming on the panel. You can come up here. I will never deny you. But what I'm saying is, you know, the audience want new people to come up and returning people on the panel. Like, let's mix it up. You know what I mean? Let's mix it up. I'm gonna let whoever want to come up. It don't make no difference. I already know Gregory's gonna come up. I know that already. But I want somebody else to come up too with Gregory, because I already know Mr. Greg gonna come up. We all know Mr. Greg stand on his. We don't have an issue with Mr. Greg on this channel as a Terrence Bud Crawford fan. He stand on his. But there's some other people in the chat and viewing right now that's not in the chat. We need you to come on down, just like we're gonna let Mr. Greg come on down. Let me fly this kite in the chat, man. I'm doing way too much talking. We're gonna deal with it now. We're gonna deal with it. We're here now. This is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. Crawford fans been waiting for this moment for a week and a half since the fight. Oh, we're going to go on Manager Marty's channel and we're going to grind him up. Oh, we got some questions that we want to ask Manager Marty. Now we here. But all I'm saying is we need answers. There's some questions I got for y'all as well. We're going to have a healthy dialogue today. Y'all see where the link at. It's in the chat now. Oh, don't all break the door down at once. Crawford fans. Errol Spence fans, Come on in. We're going to have a segment for you as well, probably sometime tomorrow or early this week, called Truth Hurts. We got some questions we need to ask Errol Spence Jr. fans as well. But today we're dealing with Crawford fans. In our segment, if you're just joining us live, nip it in the bud. Oh, yes. We know Mr. Gregory is here. He's in the background right now. He's backstage right now. We're going to let him on. And if y'all can see the facial expression he has, he laughing his eyes out, Mr. Greg is. Mr. Greg, much love and support to you, brother. Respect. I'm going to let you on. But I know there's another Bart Crawford fan that I want to give the opportunity to come on as well who haven't been on here before. Because everybody loves you on this channel, Mr. Greg. We know that you stand on your square. You are an avid Terrence Bart Crawford fan. You seem like the only one that makes a lot of sense when you talk about Crawford. Some other Bart Crawford fans don't really make a lot of sense, but we know Mr. Greg does. We're not here to judge. We're not here to misjudge. We're just here to keep it all the way 100 and deal with what's real, like we always do on this channel. So let me start. I think there's 3 Terrence Bart Crawford fans in the background right now. Salute to my brother, BVO. Y'all go and subscribe to his channel when this live go off, because I need you right now. We need you right now. Don't leave right now and do it. But when this live ends, go to BVO Boxing channel and subscribe to his channel and like his content. We have been instrumental in helping him get monetized, and we're not going to stop doing it to help the brother grow his channel. We need y'all to support the family, okay? Now we got all that out the way. Let's get down to it. I like to show my face, man. I'm trying to get this thing off. I like to show my face, man. I like to show my face. When I talk, I like to show my face, especially when we dealing with one on, you know what I mean? Salute. New York Rican 88. I see your comment. I don't want to give him no press today. I don't want the person you just named in the chat. I don't want to give him no press today. No publicity for him on this channel today. But I salute your comment, and you are absolutely correct, my brother. Thank you for that. Now, let's deal with the guests now. We got 3 Terrence Bart Crawford fans that are here right now. 4, my guy J-Rock back here. What's up, J-Rock? I like J-Rock. That's I like J-Rock, man. That's my man. It's 4 Terrence Bart Crawford fans here. Y'all gonna let them gang up on me like that? Woo! This won't be the first time I pulled up on somebody that had 4. Let me leave that alone. Mr. Vegas, what's up, Mr. Vegas? Okay, how many people here? We gonna talk today. We're gonna do this righteously. We're gonna do this righteously because I want all of the panelists that's here to get an opportunity. King, I see you, King. I'm aware that you are also a Crawford fan. I see you in the back. I want to give everybody that's in the back an opportunity to be on. This is going to be a great show. So please, the viewership is already increasing exponentially. I know what you came here for. I'm going to give you what you asked for. I know what you came here for. That's why you come over here. Okay? How many we got? Oh, my man DC Jeroy back here with me too. My man DC back here with me. I knew somebody wasn't going to leave me with all these 4 guys trying to gang up on me. I know. But it don't make no difference if there's 100 of y'all. Y'all know I'm going to stand up tall. Y'all already know that. That's why you came over here. King, I'm going to let you on first. We're going to have a healthy dialogue. Mr. Greg, I'll let you on second. In the order that you all came through, I'm going to let y'all slide on in. All right? Here now. King, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. How's it going, brother?
Oh, I'm having a wonderful day. I've been sick for a week, but I feel much better, and I'm feeling even more better now that the viewership has increased exponentially. King, how you been, sir?
Oh, bro, I can't complain. One day at a time, just pushing through.
My man. Well, King, I know that you are a Crawford fan.
Yes, sir.
I did not anticipate your arrival because I did not know that this is your first time on the panel, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I didn't know who you were. We're glad to have you. Welcome. Being a first time panelist. My brother, the floor is open to you. The audience is here watching you live in living color. And I welcome you. The floor is yours, brother. Speak on it.
Okay, so um, I'm kind of new to your channel, um, and so I initially viewed you as a neutral boxing fan. I haven't been a part of the YouTube boxing community, over the years. I kind of came to it recently when the fight was announced, and so I went down the rabbit hole, and I came across your channel. So long story short, man, post fight, I've seen all your videos, and it came across as lightly veiled accusations levied towards Bud. Now, you haven't outright accused him of anything, but all of your quote unquote questions sound like lightly veiled accusations of impropriety on Bud's behalf. And so that's, really my disappointment in it all. Not that, my disappointment means anything to you, you know what I'm saying, or your channel. It's just, you know, uh, I really felt some type of way about it, because has never been accused of anything, bad within his career as far as cheating or anything like that, having loaded gloves or being on PEDs. Like that's never come up until now. And so that's wild to me. And so, I'm just trying to get some understanding from you personally.
I appreciate your presentation. Um, Let me give you some understanding. First, let me ask you a question because I want the audience who may not be caught up to speed with everything that you're saying. Um, you said that I asked questions that sound like your words, not mine. That sound like um, I am accusing Terrence Crawford of improprieties. Can you give me one question that I asked to give you that impression?
Uh, when has Bud ever had knockout power?
Okay, you mean like one punch knockout power?
Well, you said one punch, but he hasn't knocked anybody out with one punch.
Okay, I see. Well, there is a fighter he did knock out with one punch. In fact, that fighter was laying on the ground unconscious for over 40 seconds. And his name is David Evanesian. So since you posed that question that I asked earlier, then let me ask you that question. Have you seen, you a Crawford fan, have you seen Terrence Buck Crawford knock anyone out besides David Evanesian with just one punch?
Well, again, David Avenesian was a two-punch combo. It wasn't one punch. He countered where he did the step back. He caught him with the left, then he caught him with the right. And that's what knocked him unconscious. It wasn't a one-punch knockout, it was two.
Two
But
punches.
he has stopped every single fighter at welterweight. He stopped a few before that. He did stop Don what's his name? Dongo. It was further the down when he was in lightweight with a body shot.
I
A
see.
single body shot, he dropped him, dude, never got back up.
Right. So I'm trying to understand if it's a yes or no. So let me reframe the question. Have you seen Terrence Buck Crawford knock someone unconscious? Whether it was one or two punches. Have you ever seen that as a fan? Have you seen that?
Unconscious, no. Outside of David Avenesian, no.
Oh, okay. That's so even you haven't seen it. So you must admit that you must agree with me because I haven't seen it either. Would you say that's a fair assessment, King?
I don't agree with your with the way that you're framing it, but I agree it's been one guy that he's knocked out unconscious.
That's all I said. I didn't say anything else. I just asked the question. That's
Yeah,
all I did was ask the question.
but but the question is based off of what he did to Errol Spence's face. And so that's where your question is, who else has he done like he's done Errol Spence? And that's why I say it's a in my opinion, it's a
Okay.
lightly veiled accusation that there was some form of impropriety on the behalf of Terrence Bud Crawford, be it loaded gloves, be it PEDs, with the whole Victor Conti conversation you was having. It to me, again, in my opinion, it comes off as lightly veiled accusations where you're not outright accusing him, but you're putting it in the air for people to draw their own conclusions that there was impropriety.
Well, all I did was ask questions, and even you answered the same questions that I asked the same way. So I don't understand how is it that I am being widely criticized for you and I both having the same answers.
Okay, so again, I'm fairly new to your channel.
Okay.
But when he knocked out David Avenesian, did you then make a video asking where he got the power from?
Me personally,
Yes.
no, I was more focused on the fact that he even fought David Evanesian in the first place, and how the process happened as per the business. In other words, there's 13 people lost a payday because of the improprieties of BLK Prime and Terrence Crawford by pulling David Evanesian off of a card where he was previously scheduled to fight on November the 19th. That has always been my perspective based on the business. I didn't even care whether he knocked him out with one or two knockout power punches, because it didn't make no difference. Everybody knew, and even you knew this, King, that Terrence Crawford was going to beat David Evanesian anyway.
Okay, that's true. I did know that he was gonna beat him. So this is my next question. In any of the other excuse me, in any of the previous stoppages of Bud Crawford, did you question then his power? See, that's what I'm saying. So it seems to me, and I'm new to your channel, that now that after what he did to Errol Spence, there's now these questions about his power, where he's been stopping people for the previous 10 matches. None of those matches went to the judges. No one was questioning where his power came from. But now that he fights and decisively beats Errol Spence, there's questions about his power.
I see what you're trying to say. I get it. So I want to make sure I answer your question, but bring me to an understanding so I can answer it accurately. When you say since he's done this to Errol Spence, what exactly do you mean when you say since he's done this to Errol Spence? What do you mean exactly?
He's beat him decisively, where there was no question for all of Errol Spence's supporters. They all felt that Errol Spence would dominate Bud ultimately, um, and that he would, be able to do what he's been doing in his previous fights. And the fact that Bud dominated him in the way that he did, and the fight wasn't even close, there are now these quote unquote questions about what went on in the fight.
Well, let me tell you my perspective, and it wasn't because of you said because he dominated Errol Spence like he dominated the other previous, I think, 10 opponents. That's not what I was talking about. I specifically said the disfigurement of Errol Spence's face in the early part of the rounds. That's what I was talking about when I was alluding to the power of Terrence Crawford. We have never seen him do that. When I say do that, I'm being specific. Uh, as far as the abuse that Spence took to his face, we've never seen that. That's what I
Right.
was referring to, not the domination itself, but the effects that Terrence Crawford punches did on Errol Spence's face. and how it basically messed his face up from round two all the way up. And on top of that, knocking Spence down, I think it was a total of two times with a straight punch or a jab. We haven't seen that as well. You would agree with that, right, King?
Well, so to the first knockdown, it was again a two punch combo. Errol Spence was head over his feet off balance. Bud probably could have just pushed him and he would have fell down. I mean, it's not like he was solid on his feet standing straight up and he got dropped. He had swung and missed, and Bud countered with a 1-2 to the side of his neck and he fell. They both said that it was a flash knockdown. So it's not like, you know, Bud did something spectacular. As far as the damage to his face, I watched the fight a couple of times, a few times, and I didn't notice damage to his face until round four. And that's when he started bleeding out of his nose and he started getting a little puffy in his face. But the commentators noted that at that point, Bud was landing 58% of his power punches. His lead hand, where he was in southpaw, is his actual dominant hand. He spoke on how it was a point of emphasis that they work on a power jab for this fight to take away Errol's jab. So if he's landing 60% of his power punches, 50% of his punches overall, which, by the way, are career highs for Bud in any fight. He's never landed
Why,
60%.
but why is that, King? Even you just questioned it by saying it
I
was
didn't
his
question
career
it.
high in any fight.
Yeah, yeah, but it was like, so the reason for that is because Errol Spence does not move his head off the line. I don't
Terrence
know that you
Crawford
would
doesn't either. Neither one of them do,
well,
King.
Terrence Crawford has a lot of head movement, a lot of feints. You know, he does a lot of different things, especially when he's on his front foot. Errol Spence on his front foot does not move his head. His head stays on the line, even when he jabs. So if he's not moving his head, then he's a sitting duck for a counterpuncher of the level of Bud Crawford. Not to mention that he's throwing a power jab. He's parrying Errol's jab, and he's jabbing with Errol, and he's hitting Errol with his dominant hand. So if
Right.
Errol is taking this level of punches at that high of a rate, I would assume that a fairly light complected brother face would show the effects of it.
I don't know. I don't do hypotheticals here as if and that. But I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is we both have agreements on some of the things that you're saying that I am accusing Bud of. Let me get this super chat real quick from Tyrese Buell. Tyrese, thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Tyrese says, Marty managing narratives per the business. Thank you, Tyrese, for your support and your contribution to the channel. So, King, I mean, what you're basically saying is because Spence got dominated, no one should be able to ask any questions about Crawford's power. Is that what you're trying to allude to?
I'm basically saying that it it's in bad taste to now all of a sudden out the blue question his power um due to the fact of how he did Errol Spence. Again, if these questions wasn't prevalent prior to this fight, then he has this fight with Errol Spence and he dominates Errol Spence in the way that he did. To now question his power is, in my opinion, a lightly veiled accusation that he's done something outside of the rules and the confines of boxing. And I don't think that that's fair to Bud Crawford. He's never given anyone any reason to question his honesty to the sport of boxing.
Well, no one's questioning honesty. What it is if you let me tell you my perspective listening to you, King. You said that Crawford, your words, not mine, has performed at an all-time high level uh, as far as his power punching, his accuracy, according to the punch stats. That's what you were saying.
Right.
You said you've never seen him do that before, correct?
Not at that high of a level.
Thank you. So not at that higher level. So basically, what you're saying, in essence, is that Terrence Crawford looked different based on his performance, correct?
It was based on his opponent.
I
He
didn't
looked
ask you
different.
about his. Hold on for
I
a
know,
minute,
but I'm
King. Let's
asking.
be on the.
Go
Hold on,
ahead.
King. Let's be on the same page, brother. I didn't ask you about his opponent. I'm asking you about his performance. If you're saying that you've never seen Terrence Crawford do what he's done, and he's done it with punch stats as far as the power punching, and he's done it in accuracy, you are in essence saying that Terrence Crawford looked different in the fight. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't. I don't believe that he looked different. I believe that his punch stats were higher due to the opponent. I don't think that he looked different. His
Did
counter
Spence look
punching,
different? Did
huh?
Spence look different? Did Spence look different to you?
Based on his opponent, yes.
Let me reframe. I want to make sure that we on the same page, King. In your observation as a boxing fan who's watched several fights of boxing, did Errol Spence Jr. look different to you?
Not from his normal self. I,
It's
no.
a king.
Okay. Well, no.
I like a king. I like to make things very simple here. This is your first time here. I want to show you how I make things very simple. It's just a yes or a no if you can. Think Errol Spence looked different in this fight?
No.
Hmm. No problem. No problem. You don't think Spence looked different? You don't think Crawford looks different? Got it. Got it. Even though you said that Crawford done a lot of things in this fight that even you are not even accustomed of seeing yourself.
Yeah, but what you're negating is that I said it's based on his opponent. No other opponent that Bud Crawford has fought has basically stood directly in front of him, head not coming off the line,
Mm-hmm.
um, lack of ability to get themselves out of the range of the punches or out of the way of the punches to some degree. Um, and Errol Spence kept coming forward. Usually, by the time Bud quote unquote download the data, his opponents are moving backwards. They're
Got you.
trying to fight off of their back foot.
Mm.
Errol Spence didn't make that adjustment until around the sixth, seventh round that he started trying to get away from Bud.
Mm. I see.
And even then, there were certain points throughout the fight where he was still coming forward
Mm.
because and Errol was a soldier. He stayed fighting. He never
Yeah.
quit. So I just feel like ultimately it was a bad matchup. Bud and his whole team said that they had been
All right. Got it. So what I'm hearing you say, I just want to make sure. Hey, King, we got the same objective here. I
okay.
want to make sure that Crawford gets the credit that he deserves. You see, this is where I come in and turn the air fryer up on Crawford fans, and I'm gonna do it right now. You're basically saying that Errol Spence was a punching bag. You know how the punching bag, when you throw a jab, a 1-2, the punching bag goes back, then it comes forward. No one's controlling the bag, right? You're also saying that Spence don't move his head on the line, so he's an easy target. So what you saying is Crawford beat up a heavy bag, right?
I'm not gonna disrespect Errol and call him a heavy bag, but
No, I'm not saying disrespecting him. What I'm saying is you said it was based on the opponent. It was based on the
Correct.
performance of the opponent, correct?
Yes, sir.
According to the performance of Errol Spence, the opponent, he ain't do too much of anything. You agree with that, don't you, King?
I do.
All right now. So since you agree that Errol Spence didn't do too much of anything, then how can you equally give Bud Crawford credit for defeating a guy who ain't do nothing all night?
Because that was due to Bud Crawford.
Wait a
And
minute. You said it was due to his opponent's performance, brother. You got to
that,
choose which one you're going to say. Which one, brother?
I
Which
said it
one?
was. I didn't say it was due to his opponent's performance. I said it was due to his opponent. It
Right.
was.
You
That's
talking about
right.
his you talking about his you talking about his opponent's performance. I just asked you and you said yes. So now that we got that clarified, his performance, his opponent's performance was really nothing because the opponent, Errol Spence, didn't perform very well. He didn't do really anything. So if he didn't do anything but stand there, keeping his head on the line and moving forward without being effective in his aggression, how can Crawford get the credit that he deserves if he fought a heavy bag?
Because Errol Spence is a three-time world champion. He's a top five pound for pound fighter. That can't now be taken away from Terrence Bud Crawford because Errol Spence didn't perform the way everyone assumed he was going to perform.
Well, don't say assume, King. Even you expected Errol Spence to come in the ring looking different, didn't you, King? Be honest.
Well, I expected Bud
I
again.
didn't
I
ask you
wasn't.
about, but hold up,
When
King.
you asked
See,
me my expectations, you just that was
uh-uh.
your question.
Of not of Bud now. I didn't ask you what you expect of Bud. I said you expected Errol Spence Jr. to come in the ring like Errol Spence Jr. that we're accustomed to seeing. You agree with that, right?
But he was the Errol Spence that I was accustomed to seeing. A come forward fighter whose head didn't move off the line, fought behind his jab. That's the way he always fights. That's what I
How many
saw.
punches? How many punches did Errol Spence throw in this fight? Since you on the punch stats, how many punches would you say?
I think ultimately he threw 300. I don't remember off my head. I know he landed only 94, 96, something like that.
Great. I'm glad you pointed that out because I was talking about the other way. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. When have you seen Errol Spence only land 90 punches in any fight that he fought in over almost 30 fights?
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
Thank you. So you would agree that he looks different as well. King, I have other guys that's coming on. Oh, my camera. Oh, they try to hold on. Well, I have other guys that want to come on, King. I appreciate you coming on to the segment. We got Greg in the background. I got two more other people in the background waiting to come on. I appreciate your time, King. Feel free to join us on another segment anytime you want. Um, and I'm going to let Greg on. Salute to you. Appreciate you, King. Mr. Greg, you're on right now. Stay right there, J Rock. I got some questions for you, too. Mr. Greg, you heard your constituent, your fellow Crawford fan. You know it just as well as I know it, Mr. Greg, that the man put his foot in his mouth. Now, you might not agree with it. You might laugh it off like you always do, Mr. Greg. But you know we keep it 100 on here. The
You
man
do.
contradicted himself just a little bit. And now the floor is yours, Mr. Greg. Let's speak on it, my brother.
It's always great to see how you twist them up. And you know you twisting their asses. Now, excuse me for cussing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Talk, brother. It's
Yeah.
okay.
You know you twisted them up. You're asking the wrong questions in the first place, but you already know that. You already know that. Why aren't you asking why didn't Earl Spence do what you expected him to do? So you're saying we never saw Terrence Crawford do that before. We weren't supposed to see that. We've been seeing Terrence improve in each fight that he's had. You have not seen Earl improve. But why didn't he? Why didn't he do what he should have done? See, I expected, and I have been saying it, I expected Bud to come in better than we've ever seen him. I expected every single thing that he did because I told you the first time I was on, he would beat Earl Spence easily. We talked about how Earl should win. Wasn't it about him coming forward the entire fight, throwing volume punches? He didn't do that. The question you should have been asking is, why didn't he? Why didn't Earl Spence do that? Because Bud wouldn't let him. That's why. Bud was hitting him, punching him, banging him up, pulling out everything out the bag. But how was Bud doing that? If you listen to Bomac when he talked to Coach Malachi.
Who is that? Coach Malachi. He's on
another podcast. I forgot the name of the podcast. I just watched it yesterday. But Bomac was on that podcast. He said that they had been in training just working on strength and conditioning and the jab for 4 months.
With Victor Conti, right? The strength conditioning was snack program.
That was one of the things that that's also good. But Bud had been doing that earlier with Victor Conti.
Right, but no, he's strength and conditioning. That's strength and conditioning.
Well, I'm just saying what Bomac said yesterday. They had done it for 4 months. That's all I'm saying. The point is he was doing more and preparing than he had done in previous fights because he took the fight seriously. This is the biggest fight that was in boxing that we tore each other's head off about because it didn't happen the first time. Okay, so he took it seriously. He prepared. He learned how to do new things, right?
Like what?
For instance, he started off fast.
Did you hear me say that Bud should do that? Honestly,
no. I'm saying Bud did that.
No, but I'm saying, did you hear? What I'm saying is, did you hear me on this channel ever say that if Bud Crawford wanted a chance to win in this fight, that he had to start off fast and not go wait and download information?
Absolutely, I heard you say that. But what I'm saying is that's what he did. Why didn't what you said that Earl would do, didn't he do that? Because Bud started fast, punched him in his face quick. One punch, really, in the first round, told you what was going to happen. Because what happened in the second round? He found himself down. Earl was not, in my opinion, did not take Bud seriously. Earl came in to fight. They just thought they was gonna walk him down, beat him to the body, throw volume punches. What they found was a fighter that wasn't gonna let him do anything. What they found was the coach wasn't prepared for that Bud Crawford who came into the ring. That's why he lost. But you should have been asking what was going on with Earl, not what was going on with Bud, because you had already said what Bud should do to win, and most of the things he did, like starting off fast. But when you're asking all the questions about Bud, have we ever seen him look that good? No, we should have been seeing him looking that good in this fight. This is for the whole enchilada, as they say. So we should have expected him to look that good. We should have expected to see what we had never seen him do before. And we saw it. One party got the memo. The other party didn't think the memo meant anything to them. And that's why he was in, I won't say that. That's why he found himself on the canvas. In terms of his face being beat up, well, if you're getting hit with somebody who's stronger now, who already has power, who improved himself, which is what Spence should have been doing too. Spence should have been
stronger.
I thought he was stronger.
Who, Bud?
Bud, yes.
He looked bigger than Spence, didn't he, Mr. Gray?
He looked bigger.
How that happened, Mr. Gray?
He's supposed to do all of that. Because
how is that supposed to? Well, no, this is what the streets is saying. I got to see. This is why I asked the questions, because this is what the streets saying. We want to know is, how did Crawford, who's a naturally smaller guy than Spence, come in this fight looking twice as Spence's size? He was bigger than Spence, throwing him around the ring.
That's what he was supposed to do. He
I
was
know.
In preparation, he's supposed to do more exercising. He's supposed to use everything legal, from the supplements to what he's doing to improve his strength. That's why he had a new team or an improved team that could do more for him for this fight, because the fight was at a higher level. You should have expected both of them to do the same thing. One of them didn't. One of them didn't do anything enough to be prepared because he didn't take his opponent seriously, in my opinion, on that. Yeah, what we were supposed to see Bud come out doing all of that. We should have seen Earl do the same thing because Earl was supposed to be the bigger guy. Earl was
What
supposed
happened?
to be
But
the
how?
pressure.
So that's what I'm asking you. How is that possible for him to be a naturally smaller guy coming up from the 130, 35 pound, 140, 147? He came all the way up in each division where Spence stayed in the same division. Naturally, he's not the bigger guy, but on fight night, he was bigger than Spence. And I'm asking, how is that possible?
In the same way that Roy Jones went from light heavyweight to heavyweight, proper conditioning. In the same way that Bernard Hopkins went from 160 to 175. The person that they have in common is Maxie Shieldstone, who showed them how to put on the muscle mass, who showed them how to increase their stamina, who showed them how to put that on and do it properly. Earl Spence did the same. Earl did not do the same thing, but Bud Crawford did.
No disrespect no disrespect, Greg, to Victor Conte, but Victor Conte ain't no Maxie Shieldstone.
No, I'm using it as an example. Just using it as an example.
Because now watch this. When you said Roy Jones went all the way up, you know that Roy Jones was accused of steroid use by him fluctuating in weight. He was. I'm not saying he was on anything. I'm just telling you, with the public and the press and the media, they reported all of these accusations on Roy Jones. But like you said, he had the great Mackie Shieldstone. And Bernard and Roy had Mackie Shieldstone.
Correct.
Victor Conte ain't no Mackie Shieldstone, nor does he have any regimens that Mackie put in place. He used performance enhancement.
He has
to
done
be able
that
to get his
before,
fighters like
and
that.
he went to jail for it. So, are we trying to say that Victor Conte is still doing it out in the open now?
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I don't know.
Again?
I don't know.
But I was using those examples. What I'm seeing from Spence fans, not all of them, is low expectations. They didn't have the expectations that Spence would have done better, that Spence would have prepared better. They just thought what he did was going to be enough. And they should have demanded more from Spence in this particular fight. Because this was not just another fight. This was the biggest fight in boxing. So you should have demanded more. You should have seen more. And you didn't see more. But you got it from. But see, again, when I told you it would be easy, it was. The reason why was going to be easy because you got a fighter who continues to improve. You got a fighter who stays in the gym to get better all the time. You don't have a fighter in Spence who does that.
Right. Well, Greg, we have to be equal in our perspective with Spence and Crawford. And you know just as well as I know that just as well as you can say that Errol Spence fans expected him to come perform the way that they're accustomed to seeing him perform in previous fights, I'm sure Errol Spence fans and Terrence Crawford fans alike expected Crawford to perform the same way he was accustomed to performing in his previous fights, but neither was the case on both fighters' end. None of them, Crawford or Spence, came in the ring and performed the same exact way that they did in their previous fights. And we know that's the truth.
This fight, you heard all of us say everything that Bud did. Now, you don't have to listen to me. Look at what happened when you talk to the young guy, Bandown, right?
Okay.
He studied the fight. He studied the fighters. He turned the volume down to look at what they were doing in previous fights as they moved it from fight to fight to fight.
Right.
He predicted not only within a round that Bud would knock Earl out, he told you what kind of punch it would be. Right. You don't get to do that unless you've seen a fighter continue to improve. So the next fight, you expect him to be even better than he was in the fight before.
No. What we was expecting, the reason why Band Up said that is because he saw Terrence Crawford perform the same exact way that he's been performing. Just like we can look at a fighter and say, oh, Crawford and how he's going to come and counterpunch because we've seen him perform this way before. We know how Spence going to come in and try to bully you by walking you down and being effective in his aggression and using his jab and his body to do so because we've seen this movie before time and time again. But in this particular fight with Crawford and Spence, we both saw a movie that we were not accustomed to seeing based on their performance.
Supposed to happen. That is exactly what's supposed to happen in a fight this big. We're supposed to see something we had never seen before. That's why everybody wanted to see the fight. It wasn't just because it's a 50-50 fight. We wanted to see the very best in each one of those fighters, and we only saw the very best in one of them. One of them showed how great, because this is about daring to be great. One of them dared to be great. One of them thought he was just good enough. That was the thing that we're missing. You're not asking, and you still haven't asked, why didn't Earl do better? Why didn't Earl do what he did? Why didn't Earl do better than what he does?
But Greg, if I ask a Crawford fan that, a Crawford fan is not now. Okay. So you tell me, why didn't Spence look like what you was expecting him to look like in this fight?
Because Spence is arrogant. His team is arrogant, overconfident, and didn't expect them to be have a hard time fighting Bud Crawford.
Why not? Why didn't they expect that?
Because they didn't respect him. They didn't respect his talent.
Hey, Greg, you know just as well as I know that the reason if we're going to give your point any credence, the reason why they wouldn't respect Bud in that ring is because they're watching the same 10 previous performances that we all have been watching, and they expected Crawford to look like the Crawford that we all are accustomed to seeing. So that means you're agreeing with me that Crawford looked different in this fight.
No, they didn't respect him watching the last 10 fights. That's the thing. They didn't respect those last 10 fights.
Because he did the same thing in the last 10 fights.
Okay,
right?
So they didn't have respect for him, but they should have for this fight. That's what I'm saying. They should have for this fight, because those last 10 fights were meaningless and compared to this big fight.
Well, it looked like Crawford was having trouble in those last 10 fights that were meaningless. At least 7 of those.
Okay. But look at how Spence looked. He looked worse than those last 10 fights that Crawford had.
Well, that's the thing that Spence is right, but that's the thing that Spence is saying.
Why aren't you asking Spence these questions? You're not asking. Nobody is asking anything about Spence. They're making excuses for him. Oh, he looked weight drained. We don't know because Spence has not said he was weight drained. That's the big thing.
Mayweather did.
Mayweather
did.
Mayweather said Mayweather wasn't in the ring. Spencer was in the ring. Now, I have even given Spence excuses. I've said, the accident, the drinking, I think he got injured, a retina problem. So I have given him, and I've said he had a discipline problem. I don't doubt for a second that some of those issues were still there.
All right.
But when you don't respect the fighter that you get ready to fight, and you have the issues that I've said, and you still come in because you think you still better than him, and you don't have to be any better, you didn't respect him. And you found out in round 1 what a mistake you made. The same thing with his corner. He found out they didn't respect Bomac. They was calling them names and all that kind of stuff. And even at the end of the fight, which was really so sad, what is Earl Spence? Derek James, so despondent, so in disbelief that his guy got his ass beat in the way that he did, that he's going to try to check Bud's gloves because he couldn't believe that those gloves, he did it on the sneak tip, but that's what it looked like. Now, I won't say that was what he was doing. I'll say that's what it looked like. But the fact of the matter is there was a lack of grace from a lot of the Spence fans. There was a lack of grace from Derek James. The only one who showed real grace is the guy who lost. That's the only one who showed grace. And he did more, in my opinion, in accepting his defeat graciously than his fans did, then his corner did. And that's where the disappointment comes in, because nobody's asking him any hard questions. They're asking all the questions about Bud, because we just can't believe he could perform at this level when you should have expected him to. When I've been saying, it's going to be easy. It's not because I'm just guessing. I'm looking at this fight.
At the previous performances.
Huh?
Right, you're looking
I'm
at
looking
Bud's
at
previous
how he get down,
performances.
and I'm looking at him getting better and better and better. And I'm looking at Spence like, oh God, that's all he's gonna do.
So Crawford shouldn't get any credit for what.
Yes, he does, because he put the work in. He put the
No.
work in to do. Yeah.
I'm not saying. Wait, I'm asking you a question. I'm not saying he shouldn't. What I'm saying is, you are on record, Mr. Greg, on this platform, on this channel, stating that Errol Spence had a drinking problem. You're on record saying that the car accident has affected him, where he got ejected out of his fast-moving car. You said he lacks discipline. You're on record, saying these things.
All those things.
So basically what you're saying in essence, Mr. Greg, and you just said just now a few minutes ago, that you don't doubt that some of those elements are still existing in his life, right?
Exactly.
Right. So basically what you're saying in essence, on the flip side of that coin, is that Terrence Crawford doesn't deserve the credit. Because if you think about it, he's supposed to. But what I'm saying is this: he's supposed to beat up a drunk like he
sure
did. He's supposed to beat up a guy who had back problems, ribs problems, broken facial bones. He's supposed to beat up a guy who had a torn retina a year ago. He's supposed to beat up a guy who's undisciplined. This is the stuff he's supposed to do with a guy who had those issues.
He's supposed to be the guy who said he would beat him like Toby. He's supposed to be the guy who he said he's going to, what was a French fry he said he was going to do? He's supposed to do all those things to a guy who said he was going to break his will. So yeah, he's supposed to.
But forget what he said. I'm not talking about what Spence said. I'm talking about what Spence is doing with his lifestyle, the drinking, the getting in the car accident.
That's part of it. When you run in your mouth. When you run in your mouth and you're not taking care of the business, that's part of what gets beat. You get made to eat your words. And that's what happened. He made Spence eat his words because you didn't respect the man, you talked shit to the man, and you didn't do the work to really beat the man, to break his will. Yeah, you supposed to get your ass beat. Yeah, you supposed to be humbled. Yeah, you supposed to left out of that ring beaten, battered, bruised, and despondent. Now, if you go back and look at the fight again, the same thing is you're going to see the same thing. I expected, if you're a Spence fan, you expected Spence to go in there and to dominate and decimate Terrence, because that's what Spence fans were saying, and they was following the words of Earl Spence. But they don't criticize Earl Spence. They don't criticize how are you going to do. See, when I watch Terrence and see what Terrence is doing, I'm listening to his words too. Are his words when he's fighting, not some of the business stuff, but when he's going to fight, does he do what he says he's going to do? The next fight, is he getting better? Yes. So I expected all of that. We've seen him knock fighters down late. We've seen him punch late. You yourself said if he was going to win, here's what he has to do to beat Earl Spence.
Did he do those things?
Why did you say that? But why did you say that?
Because I was watching his previous 10 performances and
No. Why did you say that if Terrence was going to win, he would have to start early? What did you see in Spence that told you that Terrence
It wasn't about Spence. It was about the style of Terrence Crawford in his previous performances. And he can't fight a guy that have a style like Errol Spence the way he did David Ebenezer, Sean Porter, Amir Khan, Benavidez, who else? Kell Brook and the rest of them guys.
So you
can't fight no Spence like that.
So you believe that Crawford would win then?
No, I did not.
So what you saying, man? What you saying?
What I'm saying is he looked different in this fight.
He's performances. And you said why he would look different. You said he started early, and he started early.
Right. So then, if that's the case, then why am I?
The only reason why he won?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. If Crawford did everything in that ring that manager Marty told him to do, then why am I being criticized by Crawford fans on this channel?
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just challenging what you said.
No, not you, Greg.
You're just talking to me.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general.
What they feel is differently than how I look at a fight.
Okay, I respect that.
Differently.
All right, I respect that.
Differently.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for them. I can speak for the fact that they've seen things that they've said in their criticisms. Yeah, I can see where somebody's feelings might get hurt, which is you got to get your feelings out of it a little bit because you done said things that I'm saying too, you're asking the wrong question because you still haven't criticized and asked why Spence looked the way that he did from his perspective. I can tell you that Bud made him look that way. I can tell you Bud was better prepared. I can tell you Bud was a better fighter all along, which I have said. But you still haven't asked, what the hell was Derek James doing? What the hell were they doing in training? How were they training? What was going on? Those questions ain't been asked. Marty, where you at? Oh, I thought I lost you for a minute. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what
happened. I got you now. So those are the questions that you have to ask. I guess you'll do it in a segment when you talk about Spence. I hope you do.
But I certainly will.
Fans have to ask the hard questions. Stop talking about Victor Conte. That's the reason why he won. Or David Cannonier. That's not the reason why he won. He's an alpha class special fighter, and he proved it on the biggest night when it meant the most. And Earl showed what I say about, I know some of my references are old references and ain't much younger than me. What I say about the Pet Rock that was heavily promoted, but still was just the Rock. That's the best. That's how I see what happened with Spence. And I also said, I know we have differences here too, that most of Spence fans are way too enamored with the great marketing of PBC. Because every time, if you look at it, a lot of the fighters who have been annihilated once they came from under the covers of PBC have gotten beat. Wilder got really beat 3 times, right? We saw what just happened with Spence. We saw what happened with Stephen Fulton, just to use those three examples. They're greatly marketed guys, but sometimes you got to do more. Spence didn't do more in preparing because it would have shown we would have seen something different, but we saw nothing different.
Well,
I didn't even know how to make the adjustment.
Yeah, well, I can say this, Greg, and I got 3 other people in the back. I'm gonna let them on, but I will leave you with this. You said we can't say anything about Victor Conte in the way that Crawford performed. I would have to agree with you. I would have to disagree with you because even you said that Bomac said for the last 4 months that they've been working on strength and conditioning, and Victor Conte is the head of the strength and conditioning program with Snack. So we have to at least give some kind of credit for.
I'm talking about no. I'm not talking about credit. I'm talking about doing anything untoward, anything illegal. PEDs. That's where people are that's what people associated Victor Conte in this discussion about about Crawford. They're using that. What he did was wrong. And again, if he's doing that, he got other fighters too. So as soon as they win, we're gonna say Victor Conte gave them PEDs as well. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't give him credit for doing the right job or doing a good job, but you can't use his past as the reason why Earl, or I should say why Crawford did so well. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I don't. You mentioned something. I know you got to go, but I'm going to finish this real quick. You mentioned something about. Oh, good Lord! Now I lost my my train of thought on that. But you had mentioned something about him looking. Oh, them not having any testing. I don't know why they didn't get tested. Does anybody know that? Because I don't. I looked to see if what I could do. I don't know either. So what will happen? We find out that Bud was tested and Spence wasn't.
Well, we know
What
that.
happened if Bud was on something and Spence? I mean, this is all speculation. This is why we got to ask the right kind, to me, the right kind of questions. We all on Bud, and you know we gonna defend Bud, and we gonna tell you why. You gotta do the same thing with Spence. So I'm gonna look
I
for you
always
to do
do the
that.
same. I always do
Okay.
the same
No,
thing.
no, I know. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the fans. You know, because one fan said that I was being
biased.
I'm being biased too. I've heard that. But one was saying that I was being I forgot the word. He's in the chat. He's probably saying it now. Pretentious. That's what he said. But I'm just being precise. And we saw precise boxing. That's all it is. So I thank you. I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be. You know what I'm be. And that's where I'm coming from on the fight. So give a man his due. Stop asking all those questions. Spend some questions now.
You got it. Thank you, Greg. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your support,
Right.
my brother.
All right, you know I'll be here with you.
You got it, my brother. Thank you. Let me get these super chats real quick. Juice Lee, thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Juice Lee says, Spence didn't do anything but throw 120 more punches than Bud. Thank you, Juice Lee. Tyrese, again, with his contribution. Thank you again, Tyrese. Tyrese says, Bud had a 4-week pre-camp at UFC for S&C. Band Up is here. We've seen Band Up in the panel and on the chat before. Band Up, thank you for your contribution and your support. Band Up is also an avid Terrence Bud Crawford fan, and Band Up says, salute. I think you were saying Marty. Salute Marty and Greg. Marty, you know I'm going to start cooking again. Absolutely, Band Up. Welcome. Nay, that's it. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Ain't no way no one is beating a undefeated champion in that manner. I'm just saying, no way. And that's from Nay _, that's it. And I believe that's Nay's first contribution to this channel. Since you are a woman, Nay, I have to acknowledge you and all the women that are watching me live all across this platform and around the world who has engaged in the chat today. I salute and welcome each and every last woman who is engaged in the chat, who's watching this live in real time all around the world, and who are watching the replay of this live. I salute you, queens. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your unwavering support, for your contribution to the channel. And you know Manager Marty always going to keep it smooth for you. So I appreciate you coming by as always. We do have a couple of other guys in the background. J-Rock is here. DC Jeroy is here. J-Rock, hold your horses. I got to give my man DC Jeroy some publicity because he's my guy. He's always contributing to the channel. He's been waiting for a little minute. DC Jeroy, my brother, you're here live in living color. What's going on, DC?
Hey, brother Marty, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Can't complain. So I see the way that you did the panel today. I see you did your one-on-one. So I guess it worked out in a way where, you know, you didn't end up getting teamed up on. But I did want to jump on as a Spence supporter. Before the fight, I was one of the ones who definitely believed that Spence would end up pulling out the fight for very sound reasons, right? Having a chance to see the fight, the brother that I was I was on your panel with him before, and he made some really good points. One that I cannot disagree with is Spence did not do all that he needed to do to rise to the level and the occasion in which he was preparing for. I think he, in some ways, underestimated Bud, his work ethic, his skills, his ability, and took for granted that the things that had given him success were going to be the same things that gave him success against an elite competitor like Bud. I also believe now that reality has bit him in the you-know-what, I think his level of focus, his understanding now allows him to get back to the things that helped him achieve the status that he achieved. Now, what does that mean for the next fight, right? So for the next fight, I too expect to see a better performance. I have to be realistic as I always am. If you take the skill and lift it up out of Bud's body, and you take Spence skill and lift it up out of his body, and you place them in completely two different athletes, I still believe the skill that was taken from Bud wins. And so, what do I think needs to happen? I think what needs to happen is a couple of things. One, Spence have always presented himself for the most part as a humble and genuine person. My recommendation is that he use this as a humbling, learning life experience to go along with some of the other ones and get himself refocused. So that's to address the humility part. The second thing to address the mentality part is Spence is going to have to do a couple of things. One, he's going to have to humble himself. So I listened to Roy Jones make a comment, and it doesn't have to be Roy Jones, but you're at a point where you now have seen the difference in skill level. So your mentality now has to be, I'm open to receiving constructive criticism to help me point out things that maybe I had taken for granted, I wasn't completely aware of. And I think that's necessary because Derrick James, as great of a trainer as he is, I think there's certain limitations that he had in his training method that he's not going to be able to get Spence over that hurdle. So we saw Sean Porter do it. Tank Davis do it when he brought in Kenny Porter. You know, it's not above and beyond fighters to say, you know what, I can bring in an additional trainer to help me work on some things that maybe I'm not as sound or efficient in. The third thing is, we all know about Blu-ray. So physically, I think he obviously looked very drained and so forth. So I think Spence needs to get back with some of the things that, especially Blu-ray, that helped him out. I think he has some success there. Now, last but not least, all of those things said where Spence has some deficiencies and some areas where he needed improvement, I don't think it's unsound. I don't think it's distasteful to ask questions. It's unfortunate how the questions may make people feel, but you know, if you've ever taken a lie detector, if you don't have anything to be concerned about, then, you know, maybe you shouldn't be concerned. And so if I ask you, did you eat the cake that's missing off the counter? And, you know, you immediately say, and I had to learn this, and you immediately take offense, it's going to make people think, even though you may not have taken the cake, it's going to make people think maybe you did take the cake. Look how you're reacting, right? And so I still like to say the questions that you're asking, I don't necessarily think it's the case.
You were going in and out, DB. You were going in and out.
My
You
apologies.
said the questions that I asked.
The questions that you're asking are questions that I think should be asked, not in trying to take credit away, but in making sure that from the performance that we've seen, that there's some type of rationale behind what we've seen. Like we just can't, well, I can't say you just can't. It's hard to be able to process and comprehend that the type and the style beating, although not impossible, that we saw take place was just Bud being that much of a superior boxer. There are other factors, you know, that come into consideration, like we talked about. And so, if all is good, then all is good. I'll be the first one to tell you that as of now, I don't have any reason to believe that Bud did anything malicious or had any type of foul intent. Are there some questions that truthfully can be asked based off of facts that will make you think, why is that? Yes, that's also true. So both things can be true at the same time. And so just wanted to kind of throw in that perspective and not come across as the delusional or the angry Spence supporter, because I'm not that. Just wanting to look at both sides of it and give some input on that, brother.
Appreciate that, DC Jeroy. You know, anytime you want to come up, you know you got my full support. You're a contributor to the channel. You're a supporter day one of the channel. Line is always open for you, DC. I appreciate your perspective. Stay tuned sometime this week because I would love for you to come back on the panel as I'm going to have the Truth Hurts segment for Errol Spence fans because I have some questions for Spence fans and so do the chat. So we look forward to seeing you there as well, my brother.
You know I'll be there.
You got it. That's my guy, DC Jeroy. Salute to Sheena. I seen her in the chat. Salute to Sheena. My man is in the chat too. I got family in the chat. And I'm talking about my guy. Where he at? He in here. I just seen him. Chris Lee. Salute my guy, Chris Lee. Always a pleasure, my brother, to see you. I'm about to flood the whole panel now as the time is growing, but so is the viewership. And so I want to make sure everybody get an opportunity to give their perspective. I got Blaxican Bruce in the back, my guy. Aaron H. Muhammad, day one supporter, another one of my guys. I got J-Rock and Band up here. Let me let J-Rock on, and then I'll let these other guys on the panel as well. J-Rock, are you there, sir?
I'm here, man. What's going on?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, brother. Hey, listen, man. I just basically wanted to address you first, man. You know what I'm saying? Because ever since the fight took place, I've been plugged into your lives, man, and been listening to some of the things you've been saying, man. And I wanted to address you first, and then I wanted to address Spence fans as a whole, man. I agree with you with one thing that you've been saying, man, that nobody really expected the outcome to be like this. You know what I mean? To be like it was. But I'm gonna tell you something else we ain't really expect either. We ain't really expect, you know what I'm saying, you Spence fans whining and crying like y'all been doing, man.
Why you calling me a Spence fan? I never told you I was a Spence fan.
All right, well, look, well, you know what I'm saying, you the face of this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I first came on here, it's a lot more Bud fans on here now. But when I first started coming on here, man, I walked into a dungeon, baby. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing but Spence fans out here. You know what I'm saying? I stood in the line of fire, man.
Yes, you did. That's why, J-Rock. But that's why I respect you, brother. But you also equally have to admit, J-Rock, since you said there's more Crawford fans, that Crawford fans, they are fans of Crawford. But you know this, J-Rock, Crawford fans are fans of Manager Marty too, my brother.
Right. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I bang with you, man. You know I like your channel. You know what I'm saying? Definitely like what you're doing out here. But yeah, that's where the pleasantry is gonna stop at for right now. that's where they gonna stop at, man. You know.
Like God, I said, man, like you. Yeah.
Like I said, I've been hearing everything from above. I mean, Spence was weight drain, you know what I'm saying, to the car accident. What else? What else they throwing out there? Bud might have had something in his gloves. It's just everything, man. I just want y'all to stand on your square, man, and realize he's just a better boxer. You see what I'm saying? And pretty much what I'm trying to tell y'all is you can thank yourselves and pat yourselves on the back for the way Bud busted up Spence like that. You know what I'm saying? He had some fault in that, as well as his fans. You see what I'm saying? Because all this stuff that, you know what I'm saying, y'all been talking, I heard, it's nothing but man down, and, you know, he was going to put him in the dirt. What else? Strap season. We can go on and on. And out the gate, man, you could tell Bud made it a point to pretty much work on everything that y'all said was better. I heard Spence had the better jab, right? Well, who jab reigned supreme that night? You see what I'm saying?
I think Crawford, he knocked Spence down with a jab, so I guess his jab definitely reigned supreme that night.
Right. So I mean, you could tell, man. All I heard was Spence was the bigger fighter. But Bud made it a point to come in there. He put on muscle, man. If y'all ain't paying attention, Like you
How
said
he do that,
earlier,
J-Rock? How he do that?
Just like Mr. Greg said, man. He worked at it. He was in the gym. Everybody know Bud Crawford strong, man. You know that. He just
Yeah,
y'all just motivated him. You know what I'm saying?
He's strong. Yeah, he's definitely strong.
He's just a strong guy, man. And
He
I
is
mean,
strong. Yeah,
yeah,
no, Bud's strong. No, Bud is a strong guy. Ain't no
yeah.
question about that.
So pretty much, y'all gonna have to own that. My man was busted up, face was swollen. He looked like a Klingon. You know what I'm saying? His forehead swole. You know what I'm saying? You know who?
He looked different. He looked different. Spence looked
Yeah,
different in that fight.
swole your man up. But like I said, and I want to address this rematch thing, man. Before I get off, now, I ain't long winded, bro. I just want to get up here and talk right quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say what I gotta say. And I'm gonna get up. But y'all Smiths fans, please let this rematch go, man. Just let it go. You heard the great Floyd Mayweather tell y'all what he told you yesterday. I don't know when the video came out when he said Spence should not be fighting at 47 or 54. He should be at 60 or 68. If Earl Spence is listening, I know I'm just a regular old Joe Smo. But you know what I'm saying? If you're listening, man, listen to the great Floyd Mayweather. It just bypass this rematch talk, bro. I know the money out there, but you want all your faculties, you know what I'm saying? You want to be able to chill and relax with your family as you get older, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Spence fans, I believe y'all should start, getting this Instagram or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Facebook, however y'all talk to the guy and let him know, man. If you a Spence fan, this ain't the match. This ain't for him. Bypass this rematch because the same thing will happen, man. It's gonna be over. You know what I'm saying? Because what can you do for a guy like Bud Crawford? All I heard was the great what's the trainer name? I can't even recall his name. Derek James. The great Derek James gonna figure out a way to beat Bud. How can you beat a guy like this? Who got the game? What kind of game plan you gonna have? You know what I'm saying? What kind of game plan you gonna come up with? Go ahead.
Hey, J-Rock, you said that Spence should bypass the rematch because of what happened. But let's be honest, J-Rock, from a Crawford fan's perspective, you didn't tell David Ebenezer that, brother.
What you mean? A rematch? It was never no rematching, on the card for David Ebenezer.
Hey, J-Rock, you didn't tell David Ebenezer not to take that fight with Terrence Crawford because of what was going to happen to him.
And let's be honest. And let's call it a spade a spade. Why did the David Ebenezer fight happen? And I know you're a Philly guy. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't going to like what I'm about to say. He knocked on a Boots door.
Who knocked on Boots' door? Crawford?
Yes, sir. They reached out to Bozy Ennis, and what happened? That's the only reason David Ebenezer fight got made, man.
Hey, man, Blue Blood said he reached out to Bozy Ennis.
Oh, yeah.
Crawford ain't reach out to them guys.
On behalf of who?
Huh?
On behalf of Terrence Crawford. Yes, sir.
No, on behalf of BLK Prime, because they didn't have Terrence Crawford signed to nothing. No paperwork or nothing.
But that's out there, man. We already know. That's factual. We can put it.
Crawford ain't knock on Boots' door, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, but we ain't even gonna get into Boots he ran out the sanctioning battery, right? And took the IBF route. We discussed that before. When he was in line, he was next in line. I think he was like third after Virgil Ortiz and all them bypassed him. So we can't even get, but that's the only reason David Ebenezer fight came about. Because Boots ran just like everybody else. And we saw why everybody else ran, right? And we saw why Earl Smith was running, right? Because he got his ass busted. And point blank period, because he got his ass busted. And PBC knew that. I've been telling you that since I've been coming up here, man. PBC knew it. So let that rematch talk go, man. You know what I'm saying?
Before you go, J-Rock, quick question. Was there any VADA testing in this fight?
And you keep saying that too, bro.
I'm just asking them, why y'all getting mad at me, man? Y'all Crawford fans, bro.
And I keep hearing that. And I keep hearing that VADA testing.
I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question. Hey, let me tell you why I'm asking. I can't speak for nobody else. I got band up here too. The reason why I'm asking that question is because Victor Conte said in an interview 8 years ago, which I played on this channel when I rolled the tape on him, he said that any fighter that's working under his snack program is going to be under 24/7, 365 testing. And all I'm asking was, did Bud Crawford and Errol Spence get VADA tested in this fight?
Well, this the question you should be asking.
Why nobody ain't got an answer? Everybody gonna tell me how I should be answered. Nobody gonna give me an answer.
I heard it was VADA tested, right? But I heard the results are pretty much, you know what I'm saying, they keeping that in house or under wraps, or however you want to say it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I respect that.
But I'm gonna tell you what you should be asking. Why, if it wasn't VADA tested, did Errol Spence go along with this fight? He signed the contract, huh?
Well, Errol Spence went a lot. Well, let's be honest, J-Rock, and I'm not talking about VADA that he did this part, but all of us on this panel and Band Up even knows this, and the fans and everybody across the world knows that Errol Spence actually agreed to a lot of different things and demands that Terrence Crawford and concessions that Terrence Crawford initiated in this fight just to make this fight happen. And even you know that.
And I respect him for that. You see what I'm saying? He a warrior. We saw that. We saw with the butt whipping he took. He's a hell of a warrior. You see what I'm saying? We saw that. But all the excuses get thrown out the window, man, because of one thing. He walked to the ring, man. He got in the ring. In any sport, basketball, if you get on the basketball court, you walk on the football field, if you get in the boxing ring, wherever, you know what I'm saying, wherever you at, whatever type of sports you're in, if you walk and compete, all the excuses go out the window, man. Because you competed. You see what I'm saying? If you had any problem, he should have pulled out the fight then. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, he wasn't gonna pull out this too much money on the table for this fight.
Exactly. So y'all is not you, since you're not his fan. You're not a fan. You're not an Errol Spence fan. But his
I'm a fan of everybody in boxing.
Okay. Listen, man, I can't tell you a fan of Bud, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yes, I am. Hey, J-Rock, you know I'm a fan of Bud. You better stop.
I can't tell you a fan of Bud, man.
Hey, man,
I can't tell, man. Huh?
Man, okay. Hey, I'm gonna give you this, J-Rock, and Band Up, you here too. If I wasn't a fan of Bud, I wouldn't have told Bud what he had to do to secure this fight outside the ring, nor would I have told Bud what he had to do inside the ring to win this fight. And he did both the things that I told him to do outside the ring and inside the ring. And guess what? He got a big paycheck and a big win. He did everything I asked him to do. Sounds like a fan to me.
Marty, I say you a Bud fan to an extent, because when I do remember when I first started watching you, you did say you go, if it wasn't for this fight, you would be going for Bud. You never really go against him. So I think it's just this EJ thing that is playing a part, and I don't think you're a liar. You know what I mean? So that's why I believe you. You know what I mean? But other than that, I couldn't tell if you were a Bud fan if I was new to the channel.
But Band Up, didn't I say that Bud need to do everything that he need to do outside this fight to secure the bag? Yes or no?
Yeah, you said that, but everybody said what he should have did, because everybody was fighting for what he did do.
Hey, let me tell you something. And this is not a knock to no other content creator on this channel or on YouTube. No one else on YouTube had the acumen or the credentials in this business more than me that told Terrence Bud Crawford what he had to do exact to the T to get this fight secured. But me, I did it. I got criticized.
You so right about it. You so right. You got the paperwork on that. You got that.
I told Bud Crawford what he had to do to win this fight. How he can't be standing back waiting to download information, that he had to press Errol Spence, take the fight to him, and on top of that, wait and catch him in between those shots and use his footwork. I also said that Bud Crawford cannot switch it in this fight, that he had to stay as a southpaw throughout the duration of this fight from round one to whenever it ends. And Terrence Crawford did those three things, and yet and still, Band Up, your fellow Crawford fans are criticizing manager Marty, and the man did everything I told him he had to do.
You know, and Marty, you know what? I'm gonna say this. It ain't only because of you. Us Bud fans have been getting ridiculed for years, talking about how Terrence didn't want to fight, how he's scared of EJ, how he running from EJ. How he doing all this, how EJ so much better than him, how EJ so much, look at this guy, look how big he is standing next to Jamel Carlo. That's why we going so hard. You seen that video when Bomac was like, I told you, Blanky, I ain't gonna cut, you know what I mean? But you know what he said? And I felt every passion of that. I felt, you know, it's crazy. I ain't drop a tear or nothing like that. I topped a tear of joy simply because I felt him. Us Bud fans have been getting told we don't know what we're looking at. When we tell you he's more dynamic, when we tell you that laundry bag a little bit bigger, that grocery bag that you got in there, that zucchini, that onion, that oil, you know what I mean, that meringue, you know what I mean, that lemon meringue, that all that you got up in there is gonna come out. And then what do we hear? We heard Earl can fight on the back foot. Earl can fight going backwards. Look what he did with Danny Garcia. He was fighting going backwards. Earl could gun forward. Look what he did to Shawn Porter. But I told you, I said, okay, we talking about this eye collector stuff. We talking about this bone snatcher stuff. Did he do that to Shawn Porter? No. Why didn't he do that to Shawn Porter? Not only because Shawn Porter has a better head movement and he's shorter, because it's a war. It's a war. When you beating the snot out of somebody, of course you can break something on them. When you got somebody like Ugas that think he Iron Man and want to stake punches and blow with you, of course you're gonna break something on Lamar Peterson. When you want to sit there and punch with you, of course you're gonna catch somebody and make old boy get caught going right and catch him with that. But Terrence is not that guy. Terrence is not that guy. He's gonna throw more. So that's why I knew. I don't know about any other Bud fans, but I knew he was gonna beat the snot out this dude. I said the only way Earl could win, and I told you, Marty, I told every channel, is if he can last with Bud and get to those final rounds and get on them cards. Because his punch resistance, like old boy said, he didn't do nothing but throw 120 punches more than Bud. Yeah, that's what's gonna look pretty on the cards if you get to round 12. But you can't get to round 12. Bud didn't let you get to round 12. I said simply if EJ had won this fight, and I told you I'm not huge knowledge with this stuff. If EJ had won this fight, it would literally make me relook how I look at a fight, how I look at a fighter and a fight, because I knew Bud had these skills that everybody said he didn't have, and he wanted to prove it. The same way how you said he got these 3 things to do. You don't think Bomac told him that's the 3 things he had to do? And what did we see with Derrick James? His mom ain't gonna be dancing tonight. That's just what he said. That's just a bill. What he said? That's just movement. That's just a bill. Whatever he tried to say, he wasn't giving him respect. So of course he ain't gonna give his who he's training respect if he ain't gonna give him respect just by looking at the man.
Got it. Now, Band Up, I agree with you on just a certain piece that you said. I have a question for you. You said Errol Spence was supposed to do all of those dominating things when a guy like Ugas is standing there letting them hit him. When a guy like Shawn Porter was going to war with him, he's supposed to do those things to them. Wouldn't you say that Terrence Crawford did the same thing to Spence that he did to Ugas? That was standing in front of him, not really performing correctly?
Ugas had... I want to say, well, he had a little bit more success, but that's what I think, because that's his natural style. I think Spence did stay a little lackluster. I don't know, that first round, why I don't think it's late, because that first round he was moving like how he's supposed to move, and Bud wasn't throwing because Bud wanted to see a lot. But I think Earl had in his mind, if I don't hurt, I don't know. I just feel like Earl just had in his mind, if I don't hurt him, it's not gonna work.
So you're saying that Errol Spence looked different to you in this fight?
He looked rushed.
Okay, let me reframe the question. Did Errol Spence look different to you than the Errol Spence you're accustomed to seeing in this fight?
Earl Spence looked, other than him rushing it. That's the only thing I think. I think they both tried to get off to the faster start. That's what I think it was.
So it was a no. You don't. I'm just trying to get a yes or no real quick.
No. I don't think. The only difference is I think he started faster. The only difference. I think Earl started faster.
I got you. Aaron H. Muhammad, you're here. You heard what J-Rock said as a Crawford fan. You heard what Band Up said. What do you have to say, Aaron Muhammad? I appreciate you joining the panel.
Well, first, salute to you, Manager Marty. Salute to Band Up. Salute to J-Rock. And salute to Mr. Greg, who was on a little bit earlier. I just have one thing to say before I make a personal statement. If we can't be honest as fans of any competitive sport, then these conversations really are almost pointless. And what I mean by that is, if a person, regardless of whether or not you're a fan of a fighter, I'm gonna reverse this. If Terrence Crawford had shown up to that fight, and I noticed something a little bit off about him, even though I may not be going for him, I'm gonna voice that. that does not mean that is the reason why he wins or loses the fight. It's an acknowledgement of an observation that I'm going to say, hey, man, last time I saw Crawford, hey, man, he's kind of favoring his left leg or something. Something's a little bit different. That's a simple acknowledgement of something being different than what I'm normally accustomed to seeing. Now, if we can't be honest, as people who saw a fight and saw two fighters, both show up with some visible differences. And that's all I'm asking. I'm not, and now when it becomes an excuse is when I say, because of what I saw, that's the reason my fighter won or my fighter lost. That's an excuse.
Right.
An observation of an acknowledgement of something that happens before the fight, that can't be deemed as an excuse unless I say, hey man, he showed up, he looked a little off. Man, if he hadn't shown up and looked like that, he would have won the fight. That's not what I'm saying. And I haven't heard anybody yet say that. And I'm gonna say as an observer, we can't keep apologizing or saying or having people say those are excuses when they're not. We all deserve on both sides to say, hey man, I observed something and I saw, hey man, something didn't look right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've heard Manager Marty say, and I've heard other people say. So if let's just try to keep the honesty on both sides and just say what was obvious. Now, Van, of you made a statement that I'm gonna agree with also when you in your observation of I think you mentioned the Porter fight with Errol Spence.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say to that is Errol did something that a lot of people don't want to admit he's capable of doing. And he didn't just do that in that fight. He made an adjustment. He's not what people want to make him in terms of being just a come forward fighter. Yeah, he comes forward, but he can also move side to side. He can move his head. He can fight off the back. See, because those things didn't happen, just be careful of what you attribute that to. I'm not taking it away from Bud that he didn't affect those things in this fight. That's not what I'm saying. If I tell you I want to see the best fight the best in the ring, and one of those two, let's say it's not even Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, and we see two other fighters that we've all seen before, and we have seen them at their best. For whatever reason, one of those two men or fighters, because it's not just men that fight, but if one of those two fighters come in that ring and we say, man, that was not the best fighter that I've seen. Now the other person showed up, took care of business, they showed up ready to fight. See, that's I think where we're all missing what's being discussed about this particular fight.
Can I ask y'all a question right quick, man?
Yes, sir.
So listen, man. Let me ask you this. We talking about a fighter that's been out the ring, what? At the time of the fight, he was out of the ring.
Hold on, J. Rock. Hold on before you say that. Because I think, see, we're going around a basic observation. And we want to apply something that's not necessarily the case here. Now, if you ask me that direct question before this fight, did he spend too much time out of the ring? Yeah, but see, now again, that would turn into an excuse because like I said, well, he didn't win the fight because he's been out of the ring too long. Not brother.
What I'm saying is, for a fighter that's been out the ring 16 months, I believe it was 16 months, right? Something like that. You know he had a lot of ring rust to work out, right? So
maybe he did.
Huh?
Maybe he did.
So we can expect that, right? So Spence chose not to take any tune-up fights, right? Spence chose to walk right into it and fight a guy. You shouldn't fight anybody on Bud caliber without a tune-up fight, man. So
I agree.
You know what I mean?
You know what you're doing? Hey, J-Rock, you know what you're doing now? You're making an excuse for Errol.
No. I already knew what it was going to be, and Bud did too.
Okay, but listen.
Hold on. Bud knew he told you what it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Back then, when they was at the Maurice Hooker fight or whatever, he told you what it was going to be. He said y'all was gonna make all these excuses. He was weight drained, blah blah blah.
I
He
knew,
knew
see,
all that.
I
Huh?
knew that's where you was going with that, and that's why I wanted you to make sure
But,
you
but,
heard what I said.
but what I'm saying,
You are making an excuse for Errol that nobody up here that I've heard yet say.
but what I'm saying to you is,
So
you ain't let me get to my question though.
Hold on. Let's
You
go
ain't
back.
let me get to my question.
Let's back up. Let's back up. The first thing I said is we all on both sides have to be honest about something we saw in both fighters before the bell sounded in this fight. I am not talking about no 15 months prior.
Hold on, you talking about both fighters? I ain't see nothing different in my man. What I said.
Okay, well, that's where.
But you did. Whoa. So wait, hold up.
Huh?
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah,
hold
my
up,
man
Aaron.
didn't hit the orthodox stance. I was mad about that.
So hold on for a minute. Let's make sure that we are all clear here and be on the same page. Band up, J-Rock. We know that you're Crawford fans. You both are acknowledging that Errol Spence looked different in this fight. Yes or no?
I'm gonna say this. He looked different from when he came out with that music playing. That was off. I'm gonna tell you from the get. The music was crazy.
All right.
I'm saying he looked crazy. He looked crazy from then, bro. But to me, Errol Spence always looked kind of off to me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, no problem.
He
I'll
always
answer your question like this. I'll answer your question like this. If you want to say Spence looked, if you want to say Crawford listened to you, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean?
How we get to me and Crawford? I want to wait a minute.
No.
You go
I'm answering your question. I promise you, I'm answering your question. You're gonna get a yes or no, but listen how I'm getting to this. You're gonna understand it. I promise you, I'm not going off to the side. I promise you. If you can say Crawford listened to you, right? And to wanting and to doing those things that he needed to do to win. And saying that was look different, that I'm saying yes, Spence looked different because he had to start. He started earlier than what he did. So whoever the hell he listened to about starting earlier, that's the difference in Spence. Other than that, that man looked the same.
No, I never said that Crawford listened to me directly. What I'm basically
I'm not saying you
right
directly.
now,
I'm saying in general, he did the things that you said would win.
Right, but what I'm saying is, even if he did those things that I said that he needed to do to win, that has nothing to do with how Spence looked. So I'm asking about Spence and not Crawford. Did Spence look different to you, band up in this fight?
No. 90% of the fight, no. Because outside of round one, no.
No problem. And this is why Aaron H. Muhammad is telling everybody to be honest, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. We got black.
I'm being 100% honest. No. Outside of that first round, no. That's the only thing he did different was start fast.
All right, I got you. Blackstick and Bruce, you're here live in living color. You've heard everybody. Aaron H. Muhammad spoke, band up, J-Rock, even Greg Quarterbomb, you was in the back. Blackstick and Bruce, you are from Omaha, Nebraska. You have not been favorable to Crawford. I think you're from Nebraska. I'm not sure if it's Omaha. I know you're from Nebraska, but you are a Spence fan. I mean, you've heard everything. What's your take on all this stuff, man?
Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
Absolutely.
Oh, we got you.
Okay, first let me say salute to you, Manager Marty. If y'all haven't liked, subscribed, and comment and shared, start doing your thing, man. Because Manager Marty got some of the best education there is on the boxing show. But here, I'm gonna keep it real again. I'm gonna keep it real. I heard a whole lot, man. Some things I don't know how else to say, but to keep them real. So here we go. I'm actually born in Hastings, but brought up in Lincoln. So I'm not from Omaha, but I'm from Nebraska. So and I chose Spence to win as a boxing fan. Okay. Now let me give y'all these three scenarios. Okay. Excuses are taken away from the person who was victorious. Away from the person who was victorious. So I'm gonna give y'all three examples. I'm gonna go back to Ali and Frazier. It was not Frazier's fault that Ali chose only 2 fights instead of 4 or 5 fights before he fought Frazier. That ain't Frazier's fault. Eddie Fudge studied Ali. Frazier did what he had to do to beat Ali, coming out of retirement in 1971. That ain't Frazier's fault that Ali took only 2 fights instead of 4 or 5 to get ready for him. So Frazier did what he had to do. Then you look at someone like Andre Ward and Chad Dawson, where Chad Dawson was undefeated, but he had to kind of drain himself a little bit. But that ain't Andre Ward's fault. He didn't take tune-ups before he fought Andre Ward. That ain't Andre Ward's fault. Andre Ward did what he had to do as a champion. Let me use another example. Tarver versus Roy Jones 1 and 2. It ain't Tarver's fault that Roy Jones lost weight, did what he had to do to come down and fight him. That ain't his fault. Again, Tarver studied to show himself approved to beat Roy Jones the second time. First time, I believe you gave him too much respect. But that you can't take away from Tarver, Andre Ward, or Frazier for doing their homework, being prepared, do what champions do to beat those who weren't quite the same before they fought them. And even Douglas Tyson. You can't blame Douglas because Tyson was sleeping around, because Tyson didn't train. You can't blame Douglas for that because he showed no fear, did his homework, learned how to tie Tyson up before he got in close. So you can't take away from the victorious greatness that they did from all four of those fighters I just mentioned. Just like I'm not going to take away from Bud for doing his homework, because we haven't seen him fight like he did his homework. He kept his defense up, and he did what he was supposed to do as a champion. But now, here again are just some of the things that I saw with you can't take away from Terrence because, Earl decided to have a little drinking problem because, he lost, because he lost the weight, his reflexes weren't the same. I'm not taking that away. We're just stating things that was kind of Earl's fault, you can say, going in. And after the age of 30, losing more than 20 pounds will do damage to you as a fighter. And that's, again, I used to be an amateur fighter. So even as an amateur fighter, I noticed around 2015, my last fight, I couldn't lose weight like I used to. I got high metabolism too. So I realized I couldn't lose weight. So as an amateur, I just called it quits. And so it was like, okay, Earl decided not to. The biggest fight in the world, going on. But Earl, to me, he didn't look the same. And you can tell it was a lot of dehydration before the fight. And you can tell because of how he was shaped, how he moved. He was losing his breath after like the third round. That's not normal. And so, again, that ain't taken away from from the good defense that Terrence had. Terrence studied him. And you know what? He counted over his jab perfectly. I fight southpaw. I can switch it, but I fight mainly southpaw because I feel it gives me an advantage. But coming over his jab, that's studying to show ourselves approved. Hey, and you can't take away. You can't take away from Terrence's performance in doing that. But one thing you can say is Earl was not the same machine he was after that we're used to seeing. I'm gonna say it like that. And I also will say that after his car accident in December, none of us even knew. I just gave him the benefit of the doubt. And this is a boxing fan. I mean, I chose Earl because, again, better competition. He's shown discipline when it came to fighting, and a lot of other. He's higher level competition. That's why he had my vote. It just so happens that a lot of things that we found out after the fight we didn't know going in the fight. And so when you look at that, how was he tested after his car accident? Because I've had a friend, Lamar. He was undefeated, and I spoke with his trainer before. He in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's not as active as he used to be. But he sparred Triple G and Alvarez when they were in boot camp, and his trainer believed that that's why he wasn't the same fighter, because they beat the life out of him in sparring. He also got into a car accident after he sparred them, and after that, he lost his first fight. So, I mean, car accidents can take a little something out of you. I ain't gonna lie. That's speaking from experience, because Lamar used to be an animal. Everybody in North Carolina knew who he was. And so it's like there was a lot of factors going into the fight that I wasn't even sure on Earl's part, but I felt like I felt he was okay. But I found out afterwards, after the first round, I could tell, okay, something's missing. I just couldn't put my hands on what it was. But again, Terrence and his corner did what they supposed to do, studied to show ourselves approved, and got victory. I ain't mad at it. It didn't even surprise me. He went down. I'm like, you know what? Something ain't the same about him. I just can't say what it is.
And let me say this too, and I've said this privately to people who are friends of mine when I talked about this fight to them, and I'll say it publicly. If the shoe was on the other foot, when Crawford stood in front of Errol Spence and his body wasn't right for whatever reason, Errol Spence would not just stand there and be looking at him. He would have did the same thing to Crawford. They're fighting in a fight. This is boxing. Yeah. He would have did the same thing to him. So you can't expect Crawford not to do something. This is boxing. These guys are in the ring. What I'm saying is everybody, and I said this last week and I'll say it again, Terrence Crawford fans, Errol Spence fans, boxing pundits, hardcore casual fans, the commentators, anybody that knows anything about boxing knows that both of these fighters look different in this fight compared to their last 5 to 10 performances previously before they fought each other. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. Now Terrence Crawford won. He gets all of the credit. All I'm saying is, if you're going to say, Manager Marty, you're wrong, you're saying that Crawford was going to lose, and you're wrong. If you're going to say that, I will accept it. But you also must acknowledge that the things that I said that were right, you got to acknowledge when I was right too. You can't just want to come on my platform and say, you was wrong, I told you, Manager Marty. I'm cool with that. But you also have to keep it 100 and say, Manager Marty, you told Crawford what he had to do to secure this fight. You were right. You told Crawford all he had to do was get good representation in this business, and he did it, and you were right. You said that if he signed a multi-fight deal with PBC, he'd be able to secure at minimum two big paydays in 1 year. Manager Marty, you were right. And I also told you what he had to do to win this fight, and he did that. Whether Spence was drained or not, that was the game plan that I gave for Crawford, and he did that. So why is it that Crawford fans are still constantly criticizing me when Crawford did everything that I told him he had to do inside the ring and outside of the ring?
They're not boxing.
Marty, what fight? Hey, what is the difference between what Crawford did to him and what he did to Kell Brook?
Huh?
Say it again.
What is the difference? What's the difference between what Crawford did to EJ, how easy he made that look, and what he did to Kell Brook, and how easy he made that look?
You know, Kell Brook
right there.
Huh?
Have it right there. In case you didn't catch, I know weight drain to you don't really mean anything, but we look at Roy Jones compared to Tarver. Weight drain can do a lot to you. And look at Kell Brook. He fought at 154 pounds at least a year or so, and then was on a short layoff before fighting Terrence. And then
he was on a 2 year. He was on a 2 year layoff.
Okay, 2 year. My bad. 2 year layoff. But he also had the weight drain. And then you look at Earl. He could have fought in, like we said, November, but they're like no. And so he drank. We all know that. So I'm not even. When you look at the weight drain on that end and inactivity, the weight drain is a good factor to again, it's not Terrence's fault, but you know, the weight drain was a factor. You can look at how slow he was. You can't take a punch the same. I've been in the ring. I know what it's like the weight drain. I got staggered by a guy who's a daggum lightweight, man, and I fought at 160, and I got staggered by him getting lightheaded after the first punch because the weight
we
drain.
don't want to hear that, bro. We don't want to hear
again.
Yeah.
Go look at
Tarver
versus Roy one. Go look at Tarver versus Roy one.
Hey man,
not even Roy Jones's reflexes are the same.
You keep saying y'all don't have no excuses, bro. But that's an excuse, man.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yes, it is. But hold on, man, Marty.
What?
You know what I'm saying? You playing both sides out here.
No, can I answer Band Up question? Can I answer Band Up question? Band Up asked me a question. Can I answer it?
My bad. Go ahead. Your show.
No, I'm talking to J Rock. Can I answer J Rock? Band Up.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
All right, cool. You said what was the difference? There's a lot of differences. Number one, Terrence Bud Crawford was not with the snack program with Victor Conte when he fought Kell Brook. So his strength and conditioning was a little bit different. Number two, he was losing that fight in the first 3 rounds compared to what he did to Errol Spence. When he fought Kell Brook, he was losing that fight. He was getting out jabbed. He was losing that fight. Hold on, let me finish answering your question. You wanted to know the difference. I'm gonna give it to you. When Crawford fought Kell Brook, he did not press Kell Brook from the beginning. He laid back, downloading information like you said he would, and that's how he was counterpunching Kell Brook in between shots. Where in this fight with Errol Spence, he kind of walked Errol Spence down and bullied him. In fact, Crawford didn't look bigger than Kell Brook in that fight when they fought. That's another difference. He looked bigger and stronger than Errol Spence in their fight. That was another difference. I can give you one more difference. When he fought Kell Brook, he never knocked down Kell Brook to the ground, not one time, not once. But he did knock down Errol Spence and hurt him at least twice out of the 3 times.
For one, all right. So look, I got to cook on this one because I keep hearing this and I got to cook, bro. That man, though, right? That no, you right. Oh no, you right. But this is where I'm about to cook. Through 3 rounds, Kell Brook threw 99 punches, bro, and landed what 90, 92. Crawford threw 94 punches and landed what 3 more punches than him. So how the hell was he getting outpunched?
Please tell me if he threw more, if Kell Brook threw more and landed less, and Crawford threw less and landed more. How the hell was he getting out punched? Because you guys keep running with that narrative. How the hell was he getting out punched? Please, besides the little punches that snuck in, you guys want to say landed. How was he getting out punched?
Well, he's supposed to land more when he counter punching him. He's supposed to land more.
The numbers is there. The numbers is there. So the numbers is there. He wasn't getting out punched. He was having, if you talk about percentages, he was having a higher percentage than Kell Brook was, wasn't he? If Kell Brook is throwing 99, he's throwing 92, but you landed more. Please tell me, like that's more percent. That's a higher percentage. If I'm not mistaken.
So you're saying that So you're saying Crawford outlanded Kell Brook, right?
Yes, and Kell Brook threw more punches.
I got you. Now I got a question for you, Band Up. Now you seem like you're a very intelligent man, and hopefully you get this answer correctly. You said that Crawford outlanded Kell Brook. Why he ain't knock him down 2-3 times?
Bro, the rope saved him. What happened when he knocked his face off and he went to the side? The ropes was on that boy. If he wasn't, the ropes, they would have went out the ring. Cut it out. The ropes wasn't there. He would have went that way. That way. He would have roped the tape that way.
He never fell to the ground one time, bro.
Bro, I understand the man never hit the canvas, his face is never on the floor, but when you over to get pounded in the corner, what's really the difference? And when you leaning in trying to go for a shot and you knocked off balance, when your equilibrium's knocked off, you guys want to get on Crawford by Amir Khan with the wobbly legs, when your equilibrium's knocked off like Kell Brook and rope's got to save you from getting up, of course you ain't going to hit the ground.
Well, he's supposed to do that. The man had 2 orbital bone fractures before he fought him in the 2 year later.
But hold up, the man also said this is the best shape he ever been in his life.
Who?
Kell Brook before the fight. Kell Brook before the fight talking shit to Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, he did look like he was in shape, but Errol Spence didn't look like he was in shape. That's the difference right there too.
And Kell Brook was bigger than Errol when they fought, wasn't he? Didn't he look bigger than him? So neither EJ or Bud was bigger than Kell Brook. Are we talking? You know, on the looks of it, right?
What does that have to do with this fight?
I don't think Kell Brook has.
I'm throwing it back at Marty because Marty said that EJ that Bud didn't look bigger than Kell Brook. Neither did EJ.
Did be honest, Brenda. You watched the fight live on Showtime. Did Terrence Crawford on TV? I didn't watch it on TV. I was there live looking at both of these guys, and I was very close. Did Crawford look bigger than EJ on TV to you?
He looked in shape. Yeah, and remember he had to go on the scale twice because
see, you acting like
he looked in shape. He looked in shape
years ago. I didn't ask you if he was in shape. I asked you, did the man look bigger than Spence in this fight on TV?
Yeah, he looked stronger than him.
No, I didn't ask you. Did he look stronger? What's wrong with this guy, Black Bruce? The guy can't answer questions.
Yes, he looked bigger. He looked stronger. He looked in shape. He looked at 146.8 on the scale. That's what he looked like.
All right, hold on, Band Up. Let me ask J-Rock. J-Rock, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead, man.
I know you're an honest guy, J-Rock. Did Crawford look bigger than Spence in this fight?
Honestly, they look the same size. You was closer, but
you ain't telling no size to me. Hey, J-Rock, you know dang on well y'all both boys ain't telling the truth right now, bro.
You look the same size to me, man. But man, let's keep it a buck, man. You know what I'm saying? All this y'all dancing around the point, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all excuses, man.
It's observation.
That's what you insinuating, though. That's what you. The point is, he got his ass whooped, man. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
And, hey, J-Rock, nothing wrong with that.
We agree. We agree with you. We agree with you. He did get beat down. He did, or beat up. One or the other.
Let's stop it there. That's it. He got his ass whooped.
He did. But what I'm
saying wasn't the same for some reason. What that reason is, none of us really know. Just like Duran got knocked out by Hearns because it was weight drain.
We ain't talking about Duran and Hearns.
Are we talking about Spence and Crawford?
Bro, didn't we hear leading up to the fact that he been at welterweight his whole career?
One mic.
Bro, I don't understand this.
One mic.
Weight drain does a lot to you. As a fighter,
hold on, one mic, J-Rock. Hold on, one mic. Go ahead, Blacks.
This is a fighter of experience. You guys have to research what weight drain does to you. If you don't know what weight drain does to you, it's a lot. It is a lot because, and think about it, he was Earl is a heavy drinker too, so that's a lot of weight. My brother and my dad both got They both look like fat Santa Clauses because they drink too daggone much. And they're not boxers, but drinking does a lot to you. It puts a lot of weight on you. So even when you fight and you're losing weight, running your butt off, losing weight, a lot of the weight you're losing is not water weight, it's beer. It's it's whatever you're sipping on, man. And it does a lot. You can't take a punch the same. I don't care who you are. That's why I was telling y'all how Roy Jones, Chad Dawson, they were getting knocked out after they lost too much weight. But the thing is, they don't drink though. Earl does. So that is not Terrence's fault that Earl drinks. It's the fact that he was losing too much weight, and it was like, okay, lightheaded. Again, speaking from experience, I don't drink either, but I got rocked by a lightweight when I was a middleweight because of losing too much weight too fast and not properly eating, like leaving off protein taking too much protein off and not eating enough vegetables to substitute. All that stuff matters when it comes to taking a punch. It does. You guys don't think so, but like I said, this is boxing perspective, not just Earl or Terrence perspective. This is boxing perspective, man. You don't believe me? Go back and watch fights where champions had to lose more than 20 pounds past the age of 30 and won't get rocked.
All right, I got you.
Go back to do your homework.
So listen to this right quick. So what I'm saying is, I don't know if you heard me earlier on that.
What?
That don't matter, man.
It does. It does.
What I'm saying to you. He fought the guy, right? Mm-hmm. He walked down the ring, man. He walked to the ring and he competed, right? So you don't get to say that. But okay, let's go with that. He was weight drained, right?
Yes, we do. We get to say it.
No, you don't.
We do.
All of them call.
Well, let's go with that. Let's go with that. I bet. Let's go with that. So let me ask you a question. How you feel about this supposedly rematch that's coming up at 150?
It's not supposed to be a rematch.
Good question. Good question.
This
is how I see it. Now I'm gonna say the same thing about him I said about Wilder. If Wilder don't fix his corrections with Tyson, he gonna lose. And I could tell by the first round he was gonna lose the rematch. So here's the deal: Earl has to get better movement. I don't know if those medical records are true or not about him, so I'm not gonna count that. But he has to do head movement. He has to stay on his diet, and he has to tighten his defense. And what's the other thing? And go back to avoiding go back to the basic fundamentals, because he did abandon a couple of fundamentals that got him there, that got him the belts. And I noticed that also. But he has to tighten his defense, get more head movement, and not be afraid to tie up when he's on the inside.
Yeah, let me get these super chats. You mentioned Deontay Wilder. I have a question about that. We have Mitch Escobar. The question wasn't, and this was up here for a little bit, and I didn't get a chance to see it, so my apologies to Mitch. Mitch said, have you ever worked out? You don't gain that much muscle and strength that fast. So what did Bud take? That was Mitch Escobar. I don't know who he was referring those questions to, but that's what Mitch Escobar said. Thank you for your contribution and your support, Mitch Escobar.
I honestly, to this day, don't feel Bud took any steroids or any illegal. I don't believe he did substance or anything. I don't believe he took that. No, I believe he lifted weights, and when he lifted weights, that's what made him miss the weight by 2 or 3 pounds or something. And he had 3 hours to get rid of it. I believe it was the weight he lifted. I don't believe it was any steroids or substance or none of that mess. No.
Exactly.
And I was going for Earl again.
Got you. This is Motorsports Sports. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. I believe Motorsports was on our panel several times before. He is also an avid Terrence Bud Crawford fan. Thank you for your contribution, Motorsports. Motorsports says Bud will beat Spence worse in the rematch. That's Motorsports Sports that said that.
If Earl don't make those corrections, yeah.
And we got Grant Quarterbomb. How can you now use any of the things that contribute to EJ's loss when prior to that, those same things were dismissed as any of consequences to consider? I think he's talking about him drinking, EJ drinking and the car accident and all of the eye retina issues. That's what Gregory said when he was on the panel. So I'm assuming that is what he's referring to about the things that contributed to this loss in this fight. Thank you for your contribution again, Greg.
What's his name? Gregory?
Yeah.
Okay, Gregory. Here's the only question I have. Name me any footage, any link I can go to, or any fight that Earl was in after his car accident in December. Because after his car accident in December, he hadn't proven to us, to no Danny Garcia, no Keith Thurman, no one else, that he was okay. I just gave him as a boxing fan, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. That's all. But see, after his car accident, I will say he wasn't tested with no other fight. He said he didn't want one. He just wanted Terrence. And I mean, again, that's Terrence's fault. That's Earl's fault.
Right. I have a. Say that again, J Rock.
No, that was me,
Manager Marty.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. What you say, Aaron?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to ask J Rock a question, and it's not necessarily for J Rock per se, but for any fan. I'm going to say Bud Crawford fan, but I'm really talking to fans of boxing because you mentioned the rematch. Just a scenario: if Bud Crawford would have lost, even if he lost on a scorecard, would you say that he shouldn't rematch Errol Spence? Because this is more than this rematch is not necessarily about how Errol lost the first fight. They have a contract, and in the contract, there is a rematch clause that is to benefit either fighter in case of a loss. It just so happened that Errol lost, and Errol deserves the right to have a rematch. Now, I agree with what my man just said about it, what he needs to do to prepare for that rematch. But we can't say, if we're boxing fans, that a person shouldn't go after a rematch. Should there be more time between them rematch? Yeah, I would say yeah. But to just make it look like it's totally it's out of the realm of possibility for Errol to come back better than he presented himself in his last fight. See, I think that's where we lose sight of what the sport is about. What happens?
Yeah,
before the fight happens, he looks like he looked 3 or 4 fights ago, and then we see it translates in the ring to something different. I'm not saying it translates into a win or loss, but I'm going back to what I said. What did we see? What did we witness before the bell sounded? And y'all are struggling to be honest about what we all saw. We all saw it. And that's not
all right. I got some.
Hold on, Ben. Let him finish. Let him finish, Ben.
I'm simply saying that we all, as fight fans, deserve to see the best fight the best in the ring. If for whatever reason one of those two fighters doesn't show up their best, that just means you're not going to see the best of the best that night. Doesn't mean that it's an excuse for why the other one won. It don't mean none of that.
Man, hold on, man. It looked like a big gap. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I understand it's a contractual obligation or whatever for them to have a rematch, right? I get that, but the gap was tremendous, man. You know what I'm saying? It don't look like 7 pounds gonna help this guy. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know what I'm saying?
I could be right.
I will.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it a stat. There's something I seen in that fight.
Hold on. I'm just gonna be real brief, man. And it really don't look like that's gonna help him, to be honest with you. And from what I seen moving forward, and I don't know if y'all heard Floyd Mayweather interview yesterday. Errol Spence shouldn't be fighting at 154. He should be at 160 or 168, something like that. But what I'm saying is, coming back on the rematch, Errol Spence coming back to the rematch, he got suspended for 2 months. I don't know if y'all know that, right?
Who?
Errol Spence is suspended for 2 months.
Yeah. I spoke on that yesterday live.
Okay. I don't even know if you touch bases on that. He's suspended for 2 months. So that means he can't have no contact, bro. He
for
can't
30
spar.
days.
Hold on. My man shaking his head, but that's a big deal, bro. That's a big deal.
Hold up, man.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me finish talking. So he can't have no contact for 2 months. So we talking about December. 2 months from now is what? That's borderline what? November, October, late October, November. You know what I'm saying? How much time did that?
Hold on, J-Rock. J-Rock. This is Manager Marty. Let me interject on something because I want to correct you on something. So according to protocol and according to what the Nevada State Athletic Commission, my contacts over there told me, this ain't hearsay. Spence is suspended for 60 consecutive days by the physician of the commission. Now, he has 30-day no contact in the 60 days. So that means anytime after 30 days, he can go back to his regular training as far as sparring, heavy bag, etc. I just wanted to correct you because fans and supporters and audience that was here yesterday, earlier in the day, heard me give the protocol that the state of Nevada told me. So he is suspended for 60 days, but he only has a 30-day no contact restriction.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that because you know what I'm saying. I thought it was 60 days.
No, he's
So they-
suspended for 60. No, he
No, I
is
mean-
suspended for 60. Yes.
No, I thought it was
no
no
comp-
contact.
No, just
Hey, yo,
the 30
Marty,
of
Marty.
the 60.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
But what I'm saying is,
Hold on, Marty. Let him finish, Marty. I got you, bro. Go ahead, J.
what I'm
Rock.
saying is, that's gonna put him at a disadvantage for a fight in December to me. You know what I'm saying? For somebody who already coming off a layoff. So let's be honest. The way he got beat up, man, he looked like he needed to really take a lot of time to let his body heal up, man. And I don't feel as though I don't know if y'all. I think you just touched on the Earn H. Muhammad. The rematch shouldn't be in December. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's in the contract. You know what I'm saying? They got to be before the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I think that's in the contract. But what I'm saying is it's not going to make a big difference, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to make a big difference, in my opinion. He going to get his head knocked off again because, like I said, the gap was tremendous. Did you see the difference in hand speed? Hold on. Did you just take that into account? He ain't going to get no faster at 154. If anything, he going to get slower. The difference in hand speed.
Hey, J-Rock, let's be clear. Neither one of them should be getting faster, even at 36 years old.
Listen, there you go again. You know what I'm saying? There you go again. There you go again, man. There you go again. And you just told me you was a Bird fan. Come on, man. It ain't adding up. It ain't adding up.
You see that, Marty? Marty,
I see what you're trying to do. Hold on.
No. Do you
Hold on.
That's what got your man head swollen the first time, right?
Wait. I just want to give you your props.
Marty, hold on,
Hold on. Before you put that up,
That's what got your man head swollen the first time, though, right?
Let me talk to you. I told you this 2 years ago. Did I not? Put that down. Didn't I tell you what was going to happen to that man? No, don't put that up. I told you before the channel, before anything. When Bud's in the ring with that man, he was going to whoop it. He was going to whoop him. I told you that.
You did.
You said no. I told you that. I give you your props. You said what Bud needed to do and all that. You right on that. But I told you he cannot beat this man. That man is a better boxer than him.
I agree that he's a better boxer.
He's always moved up.
There's
what he was supposed to do. Earl Spence, anybody with a little bit of athleticism, he can't deal. Porter, athleticism, couldn't deal with him. He was fighting Ugas, punching bag. He's fighting
Who was a punching
bag.
Who was a punching bag, Marty?
Ugas and Danny Garcia. They stand right in front of you.
Well, okay, wait.
Right there,
do Errol Spence get credit? Do Errol Spence get credit? Does Errol Spence get for beating Ugas and Garcia?
Yeah, he get the credit. But
even though they were punching bags.
Hold on. Come on, man. Let's be real. Compared to Crawford, they couldn't deal with him.
No, I'm talking about punching. You used the word punching bag. You said
that's what they were. They stood in front of him and he did whatever he wanted. Body, head.
Isn't that now, Marty? Isn't that what Crawford did to Spence? Wasn't Spence a punching bag too?
Hold on.
No.
That's Spence for you.
No.
Spence always stands in front of you, trying to walk you down. But he was dealing with an athlete power. He embarrassed that man. You know it. He got him. I told you.
I agree with you, Marty. I agree with you.
Listen.
Question, Marty.
I swear, not going for it.
I agree with you, Marty, but I want to correct something. Hold on, everybody, please do this. I got the viewership. They watching y'all live and living color. Everybody, please mute your phone. I gotta say this is important. Blackfinger Bruce, you said that Terrence Crawford is not on PEDs. I never said that he was. But I want to correct you on something that you did say. You said he's not on supplements, and that is not the truth. I'm not saying that they're illegal substances. He is on substances, but they might be legal.
Marty, I said I am not accusing him of that. That's what I
I
said.
got you. Blackskin, I'm going to bail you out now, brother. Mute your phone. I got you, bro. No one on the panel, including myself, is saying that Terrence Crawford is juicing is on performance-enhancing drugs illegally. That's not what I'm saying. But everybody in here, for the last 3 fights that Crawford fought, saw Crawford acknowledge through marketing and advertisement he has Snack on his trunks, the logo of Snack, and he also is on Snack's Instagram page as a fighter that is on the protocols of Victor Conti's staff as far as strength and conditioning. Let me read to you what the Instagram of Snack says. I'm going to read it. Victor Conti's Sports Nutrition Company. Snack offers products that improve your level of fitness, help lose fat, build muscle, and enhance performance. So when you say that Crawford looked the same in this fight, he didn't. He's under the Snack program, and he has a strength and conditioning coach and regimen in Victor Conti's program. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. I am not saying it's illegal. I'm just letting everybody know for the last 3 fights, from Sean Porter, David Evaneeson, and Spence, he's been on Snack. That's all I'm saying, and it's not an opinion, it's not an accusation, but it's only a fact. Can everybody on the panel agree with me, yes or no?
So where you going with it is what we saying.
I didn't ask you where I'm going. See, J-Rock, what you doing? Look, I got 2 sons, J-Rock, and my youngest son, Lil Marty. If I told him a couple of years ago, Marty, let's go, we got the roll. Pick him up from his mom's house. Let's go, get in the car. You know what he say? Dad, where we going? I didn't ask you, son, where we going. I'm your father. Trust me. Get in the car and let's go. And what I'm saying, J-Rock, all I'm doing is reading the facts off of the screen, off of Snack's Instagram page. Don't ask me where I'm going. It don't make no difference. I'm just telling you what the facts are. We got to deal with what's real, Marty. We got to deal with what's real, brother.
It make a difference. Because you know what you're trying to insinuate, man. Come on, man. Listen.
I'm just reading what's on. I'm just reading what's on here.
I get that. You thought the man was going to win. You made
no.
You thought Spence was going to win.
No, he didn't.
I did. I thought Spence was going to win.
Spence was going to win. We've been at this for too long not to think that. And I told you, he could not handle that man. Pound for pound, that man is the best in boxing. You can put that up. You see what he did.
The man is taking performance enhancement supplements. They're legal, but he taking them, brother.
That's what you wanted to get to. You wanted to say he was on steroids.
No, I didn't. I didn't publicly say. Don't lie
to me. You want to go. Listen.
Don't lie to me, brother. I can get a lawsuit behind this, Marty. Don't get me jammed up, brother.
Man, please listen. The man couldn't deal with him. We all knew. Anybody that know boxing knew he would win. We didn't think he'll beat him like that. He did what he had to do.
Yes,
you
can't
disrespect a man for 5 years talking about he ain't fight nobody. He ain't did this. He ain't did that. And think he wasn't going to get his mind right and go in there and try to punish that man. And that's exactly what he did.
I agree with you.
It's over. They got another one coming up at 154. The same result. It ain't going to be no different. It might go 10 rounds this time. Not 9.
So, quick question.
The same result.
Quick question.
You shake your head. No, you saw what I saw. It's going to be the same result. He can put 7 pounds on, 10 pounds on. It's going to happen. He's not the better fighter. That's just it.
Muhammad had a question for you, Marty.
Just a quick question for you, Marty.
I got you.
What if Errol shows up visibly in much better shape, bigger, stronger? I'm talking about before the bell sounds. I'm not talking about, what we see after round 1. I'm saying if a man shows up much better prepared with the eye test as he steps into the ring, what's going to go through your mind?
They about to fight. It ain't going to be no different. The last time somebody who I thought
that's
what
I want to stop.
I'm going to answer your question for you.
Go ahead.
The last person who needed to do that was Wilder. He came in visibly stronger, bigger, ready, and he still lost. It happens.
Wilder, you mean Wilder?
Wilder versus
You mean
Fury.
Wilder versus
Right.
Fury?
Yeah.
Can
He
I ask you
came
a
in
question
bigger.
about that, Marty? Yeah.
Huh?
Can I ask you a question about that, Wilder Fury?
Yeah.
Okay. When Wilder and Rodney is our mutual friend.
Right.
Wilder fought Fury, and Fury gave Wilder some damages, even a dent in his head. And I've heard Rodney and other people criticize Fury and say it was something wrong with his gloves, etc., because he put a dent in Wilder's head, and Crawford put a dent in Spence's head. I haven't heard anybody say anything about that, brother.
I ain't see them gloves flopping around like that, man. I
But he
ain't
still
never,
put a
I,
dent in his head, though.
I ain't never seen no gloves flopping around like that.
But he still
I
put
ain't
a
see
dent in his
Bud.
head, though.
Hold on, didn't your man shake his hand at the fight?
Who?
Coach
Yeah.
James. Didn't he shake his hand to see if anything was in the gloves? Didn't he?
I
feel all
don't
up
know.
on
I
the
don't
damn
know.
glove?
He definitely did.
I don't
Man,
know.
you seen that, man?
No, I
He
was
shook his hand,
definitely
slipped
did.
all up on the glove and just looked at him. We
Try to
know
do
what
it real
was,
slick.
man.
no, but listen to no problem.
Thank you, J-Rod.
All I'm talking about is don't make no difference. The results were the same. Wilder had a dent in his head, and Spence had one in his head. So I'm asking you, where's the same energy that you had when Fury did it to Wilder? Where's your same energy when Crawford do it to
Listen to what I'm
Spence?
saying. Was his gloves flopping all around?
I
every
don't
punch?
know. All I'm saying is
You
the man
watched the
got a
fight?
dent in his head.
No, did you watch? You watched the fight, bro. You seen the difference, and go look at that fight, and then look at that fight.
What you mean, Fury and Wilder?
Yeah, go look at his gloves swinging all
Okay.
around, flopping all around, and go look at this fight that just passed last Saturday or 2 Saturdays
Okay, no
ago.
problem. I don't have a problem
His
saying
hand was like this in the glove, bro.
bro, I got you.
This is a difference,
Right. But how did the man get a dent in his head? Both of these guys got the same results. I didn't see the same energy from y'all.
Because it was you trying to say two different things, bro. It was totally two different things. You can't put the same thing in there.
It don't
bro.
make no
that
difference
man
how it
glove
happened.
Looked like it was something in that glove.
Bro, they both
This one didn't.
Okay, hold on, Marty. Let's put this in perspective. Tyson Fury wore the MDX version of Everlast gloves, and so did Terrence Crawford. They both wore MDX gloves with the lack of padding with horsehair.
Right.
That's legal. I'm not
Hold
speaking
on, I know
on
that.
That's legal, right?
Right.
All right. So all I'm saying is, where is the same energy that people had when Fury put a dent in Wilder's head, when Crawford put a dent in Spence's head? Y'all got to have
I'm
the
about
same
to tell
energy,
you right now. Listen, this the energy. Did Terrence Crawford ever get caught cheating with gloves?
That ain't the question.
That is.
That's
I'm
not what I
asking him a
asked you.
question.
There y'all go again.
What you ask?
Let me ask you one.
What you ask, Marty? What you ask?
Can I ask you a question though, sir?
Why? Yeah, you can ask me a question. Hold on, J-Rock, I got you. When Fury, I'm gonna ask the question again, Marty. When Fury beat Wilder, Wilder was seen in several pictures with a dent on the side of his head where his skull looked like something was wrong, pushed in.
Right.
Everybody was up in arms, making it racial by saying Fury's racist. People were up in arms saying that he cheated. People were saying his gloves was loaded. People said he had egg weights in his gloves, etc., etc., etc. Like you said, his gloves was flopping the whole nine. When Crawford put a dent in Spence's head, I haven't seen them same people, including you, have the same energy when Crawford does that with Spence. And I'm asking why not?
And because there's nothing to have it there for. That's the point.
You ain't never seen Crawford put no dent in nobody else's head, Marty.
You can't go from one man flopping glove all around the ring to a man is getting punched silently with no flops to saying what's the difference between the two? There is no difference.
Crawford ain't never put no dent in nobody else's head, Marty. You know that.
Listen. We all, everybody on this panel saw that glove, right? Saw the Fury fight. They seen what that man glove was doing.
Yeah.
Did you see that happen in this fight? I'm just asking you.
No. I just saw the results. I just saw the results. I'm asking about the results.
And you
stuck on the reasons.
I don't know.
I don't know the reasons.
I don't know. That's what I can say. I don't know.
Oh,
and
right.
was I? No. But this is what I'm asking you. Was Fury ever caught cheating before with the glove?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Come on, we all know that. He got caught.
I don't know. I don't know if he was caught cheating before.
That's why everybody was up in arms, because he already got caught in the pro fight.
I don't know that. Before that Wilder fight?
I send it to you. He got sent once or twice.
Question, Mark. What about December with the torn glove, though?
His gloves broke. His gloves. They did. I admit that. I never said they didn't. You ain't gonna hear me say no. I saw
But
it. You saw it.
okay. So his gloves broke. Crawford gloves broke against David Ebenezer. He knocked him out cold, and he was out unconscious for 40 seconds. But he still didn't put a dent in his head either.
First of all, they should have stopped the fight.
I mean, I agree with you. They definitely should have stopped all of that. And yeah, I agree with you. That's
just
not
like
Crawford's fault.
When Fury got caught cheating, they stopped it. Hey, what's up with these gloves, man? His hand ain't all the way in his gloves. Blah blah blah. Y'all saw it.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you.
I didn't see them do that.
It didn't change the outcome of the fight, though.
Okay, so okay, send it to me, Marty. I want to look at the people who say what's up with them gloves. I didn't see that, but what I did see was the results of two men having dents in their head, and one part of an audience was coming down on Fury, but the same audience that came down on Fury putting a dent in Wilder's head, they didn't keep that same energy, including you, when Crawford put a dent in Spence's head. I'm asking, where was the energy at?
I can't give it to you because one got caught cheating and one didn't. That's my whole point. One got caught cheating. Bro.
That's the first I heard of the dent.
You know what I'm saying? But this is all I'm gonna say before I get off, though. I'm gonna give you your props for the channel. Much respect. You know how we talk on and off this show. But I told you, and I'm gonna tell everybody else, if it's another fight, it's gonna be the same result, bro. It's gonna be the same result.
It'll be a result if Earl doesn't make the changes.
He can't make the changes because he's too stuck in his ways, man. He's a pressure fighter that can't do nothing else. No defense, no nothing.
Hey,
none of us know that.
Or that's going to show us if he's a true champion or not. Because there are times, I mean, what was it? Fighters have gotten knocked around, beat down, knocked out, and came back and made adjustments. And we don't even know
look
that yet
look
or not.
at that Danny Garcia fight. Everything that was happening in this fight, he was doing the same exact thing, overshooting, overstepping, throwing the wild, and he was getting caught. But this time he was getting caught by a sharpshooter with some power.
Because he's starting.
Now, Marty, before you leave, Marty, I want to ask you. Before you leave, Marty, I want to ask you a question.
My man.
In your opinion, because I know you're an honest guy, brother. I got you up here, and I appreciate you coming on. Did Errol Spence look different in this fight as far as his body, the way he was not functioning properly, the way his equilibrium was off, his legs,
Listen,
did he look different to you?
I'm gonna be real because I don't make excuses. When I first saw him, I was talking to my wife. I'm like, he looked like he just woke up when he first came in. But once that fight started, he looked like Errol Spence to me until he got start getting hit with them jabs. Once he got start getting hit with them power jabs, he even said it. After I got knocked down the first, my legs was like he got hit with them jabs, man. But he looked like Errol Spence coming into the ring. Before on the walk in the building, he did look a little different. But once he got to that ring, I think he was Errol Spence. I think he was ready. He just ain't know what was gonna happen to him.
I got something for that. I guess. Oh, so I guess Larry Holmes beat Ali fair and square to you too. Okay.
Oh man, you got to cut it out, man. We talk about right now.
That's the way I
respect it though. All right, all right.
That's the way I make it out, though.
I appreciate you coming on, Marty. Anytime, brother.
All right, bro.
Let me get this super chat. Let me get this super chat here. We're going to still cook. I'm going to let you guys go. We almost close to 3 hours here live in living color. Trav414, thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel, Trav. Trav says, EJ wins a close fight in the rematch. And then the third one is going to be the one for the books. J-Rock, what's your take on that? Give me 30 seconds before you close out. What's your take on what Trav414 said about the rematch?
I think Trev, he's he high, man. It seems like he must be drunk or something, man. I don't know what's going on with him. But let me ask you a question before I get off here right quick, man. About this gloves, the dent in Earl Spence head or whatever. This is the first I heard about this dent too, man. I haven't heard about it really. But
yeah, go on my channel. You'll see that the other day I put a thumbnail up of a picture where he had a dent in his head from, and you can see it looked like knuckle print was when it was on the side of that man's head, man. I ain't making this up. Aaron Muhammad saw it too. Okay,
well, let me ask you this. I know you said you ain't see Derek James check his gloves, but he did. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? If it was something going on with his gloves, I believe Derek James would have said something. What you think?
No, J-Rock, what I'm saying is I didn't see it live. When I was there live, it just looked like he was just shaking his hand. But I know video has been circulating where it was, I think D-Town or somebody sent it to me. It was somebody was slowing it down or something like that. Or I watched it on D-Town channel. D-Town, I think. Somebody was slowing slowing the video down, and it looked like he was trying to check the inside of his glove while Crawford's glove was still on. But that was slow motion. That could be, he probably wasn't checking for it. You know what I mean? It was slow motion. So I don't know.
He was definitely checking because he couldn't believe he got busted up like that. But one more question, man. You had the great Harvey Doc on last night also, right? Correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So my question to you is, if you had all these concerns about, a dental upside his head, man, why you ain't ask the great Harvey Doc? I'm sure he checked his gloves before the fight, right? Isn't that protocol?
No, the protocol. So the protocol is that the commissioners, inspectors, they are the ones who are responsible for the handling of the gloves, the checking of the gloves. But remember, I told you that the gloves were legal. They are the MDX version of Everlast. They're not padded.
Right.
They're just horsehair. Those are the same gloves that Floyd Mayweather tried to stop McDonough from using in their first fight in the back the day before the fight, because those were the same gloves that McDonough used with horsehair, no padding, against Broner. You know what I mean? So they both obviously signed off on it. They both signed off on the gloves, apparently, if Crawford was allowed to use them. Okay. So they're legal.
Okay. I just don't know where you're going with it, but okay. But
no, I'm just educating the people.
Okay, all right. But I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Anytime, Jay, you always welcome. I got love and respect for you, bro. Anytime you come through, come on through, bro.
But just moving forward, man, like I said earlier, I just want y'all Spence fans, the Spence fans that's listening, just let this rematch go, bro. It ain't gonna turn out in y'all favor, man. 7 pounds ain't gonna make a big difference. Like I said, the gap is too wide, man. You dealing with a hell of an athlete, man, who just dedicated to his craft. He's very dedicated to his craft. And to put him up against someone who's, not as dedicated and, has a lot of problems outside of the ring, in my opinion, it's just unfair, man. So I believe it would be the same outcome. I believe he's gonna get whooped worse at 54 if he decides to fight, and that's that, man. And again, I appreciate you letting me come on, bro. Hopefully, I can go on another time,
you, bro. Anytime. Salute to you, man. Be easy, J-Rock. Thank you, my brother. All right, Aaron H. Muhammad. 30 seconds, brother. I know it's a lot going on in your mind. It's on you before we close out. 30 seconds. What you got for me, man?
Well, the way I started, brother, I mean, I just want people who claim to be fight fans, regardless to who's in the ring, be honest about what they see. And if they didn't see it, there's always, we all can go back and watch. It's not like we can't go and see, is what people are saying, is it something that I missed or just didn't see it first? But then there's a time frame where everybody should say, hey, man, I went back and looked and said, yeah, Errol looked off. And because, like I said, if we can be that honest, then some of these other things that are coming up, they won't be so controversial, because it starts with what was really going on before they both stepped in the ring. And I'm not saying, I haven't even said anything about the weight drain. I ain't said nothing about none of that. All I simply said was, did Errol, and see, until you asked the other question, Andrew Martin, I wasn't really even concerned with the way Crawford looked before the fight. But then after you asked that question, or no, you made the statement, you asked the question, did both fighters look different? And after I went back and looked at Crawford at that point, and he did look different. So it's just simple acknowledgement of something that was present. Doesn't mean that none of that played a role in the outcome. And it doesn't mean that our observations are excuses either way. It's an excuse when we say, hey, man, because Errol showed up and didn't look right, man, he lost the fight. And I haven't heard anybody yet say that. I've heard some other observations, different from mine, and you have too. But, man, and I'm a Spence fan. Listen, that man has got a lot of pride. He's got a lot of character. I respect him. But he hasn't But to this point, has Errol Spence said anything about how he felt? How he looked? He just mentioned his timing and things like that. But he didn't say, hey man, that's why I lost.
That's true.
That's all I got, brother.
You got it, Aaron. Always a pleasure. Salute to you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Always a
brother.
pleasure. Come on back up, because I'm gonna do a segment called True First with Errol Spence fans. So come on back up. I'm gonna try to see if we can put it together either tomorrow or Thursday. Come on back up. We're gonna have a good time, because I have some questions for Spence fans. So do the chat. So do Crawford fans have questions for Spence fans, and we're gonna make sure we, be fair. Have Crawford fans up and Spence fans alike. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for your contribution and your support, Aaron. Much love and
Thank you,
respect
bro.
to you, man. Salute. All right, so that was the segment. We had 3 hours flat. I was not expecting to be here for more than 1 hour, but this is why this podcast is unique. Sometimes it's unscripted. Most times it's unscripted. And I appreciate your viewership. Let me tell you something. I can't wait till I get the merchandise popping, because y'all going to see t-shirts and hoodies fly around all across the world. When I say the viewership is increasing exponentially, I mean that. The viewership was popping. The chat was popping. Even if we said things or saw things in the chat that we liked or didn't like or agreed with or disagreed with, the chat was popping. The viewership was popping. We had ladies in the chat engaging. We had women all across the world watching us live and the replay of this live. And so look forward to content throughout the week. More lives coming this week. I'm trying to increase my performance level with, producing more content. And I appreciate all of your viewership. I appreciate each and every last one of you engaging in the chat. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Please like this content, because when you do, the education and entertainment value reverberates all across the YouTube boxing community and the world. So I appreciate it. Tune in live either tomorrow or Thursday. We're going to come right back here, and I will let you know in advance the time, and we're going to have another full live and living color episode of Roll the Tape podcast. I'm Manager Marty. Until next time.